How do you live with yourself? It's indefensible. It's indefensible. And sorry, behaving like this and promoting this kind of worldview, it hurts Palestinians. If you believe that bodies who are found stripped either from the waist down or fully, women with their legs spread, witness statements, if you believe these are not good enough, then you are basically saying that no happened at Sabra and Shatila. That's it.
You just don't know what words mean. So, credible circumstantial evidence. Do you know what that means?
It means Hasan is still a misogynistic frat boy who wants to say picture it didn't happen. That's what that means. Circumstantial evidence is almost all the time all we have for determining. Circumstantial evidence for is like, there's not a video of it. You know, like, kids are circumstantial evidence. DNA is circumstantial evidence.
All right, folks, that's enough of the dog chat. It's time. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hasan Piker.
Hello, Hasan Piker.
What's going on?
Well, I'm doing a debate. What about you?
That's what I'm doing as well.
It's so intense, man. Jesus, everyone, oh God, I already feel wired. I already feel stressed. I guess we have to introduce Hasan Piker, seasoned political veteran of 6-7 years. Brofessor versus Ethan Klein, drama YouTuber. Let's go.
Well, I'm doing a debate. What about you?
That's what I'm doing as well. All right. Wait, hold on. Oh, are you going to show me all the time as well on the Zoom call?
Here, I can fix that. 1 second. Let me just set it to Ethan's output here.
If you want,
there you go.
If you want, just show like not just Ethan, but yourself as well. If you're going to talk, like that's fine.
Hey,
I don't know if it's
Hasan,
gonna be too difficult.
leave the production notes to my team. You can switch your show how you like.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know, they were my coworkers as well, Ethan.
Well, it's been a while, my friends, and guess what? They are not now.
Oh my God, they're so...
So let's start. I mean...
This is the problem with like just not choosing a topic or going away, like just doing so much back and forth for like a year. Because everyone's just got like a case of vomit to throw out against the other person. It's already... Jesus Christ, man.
So you did this content cop, right? And I mean, did that go how you expected? It didn't seem to hit very hard.
Before we get started, can I lay some like ground rules so we can have like a productive conversation?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No debate bros here.
I wanted to come on to make this as issue specific as possible. But yes, you have grievances with me. And of course, I think they're valid to address.
Okay, good.
Of course, we'll talk about that. Hopefully, I'll be able to address some counterpoints as well, if you will allow me in that process.
Absolutely.
But before we get started on anything, I would like to potentially talk about definitions so we can have like an established definition on a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about.
Hey,
is that okay with you?
I mean, it depends how many definitions you got. What do you want to define? I don't want to get bogged down in this, so
I'm also experiencing audio issues on my end, so hold on one second.
No worries. No worries.
Okay. All right, so you're fine with that?
I mean, up to a point, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to get bogged down in a conversation.
It's not like a gotcha.
Go ahead, start. No, I know you're not.
Okay,
I just want to get going.
All right. So first and foremost, I think we should define what Zionism is and what you mean by Zionism and what I mean by Zionism.
Zionism is the belief that Jews should have their own homeland in the historic, Palestine area. That's it.
Okay.
That's a It's a slightly strange definition. Better word. Zionism is if you believe that Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish state. That's it. Saying in Palestine is a bit dated. Obviously, that's where they wanted to... it was in a place called Palestine at one point, like British Mandatory Palestine. But no, you say it's a right for Israel to exist as a Jewish state. That would be it. But okay.
So I believe...
Location doesn't matter. Well, Israel already exists, so the location is kind of inherently... It's in where historic Palestine was, yeah. It's like in that area, 6-7 borders. But it doesn't matter like if it's the 6-7 borders or the... or the river to the sea. Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish state. That's why a Zionist can be a two-stater. It's why a Zionist can be a conquer it all one-stater. It's also why a Zionist could actually theoretically be a one-stater in a federal system, because Israel can be the Jewish state within a federal state of Israel and Palestine, like a federal nation, Israel-Palestine. Yeah.
That Zionism is a religious ethno-supremacist ideology.
Doesn't have to be religious in the slightest. The early Zionists, the people who started Israel, were majority atheist or secular or agnostic. Like, Israel has always been a secular state. People can you can argue that with the Haredim population that it's going away from that, but no, Israel is a secular state.
That
Zionism was a secular movement
that revolves around the exterminationist policies of removing the indigenous population that lived in, as you said, historic Palestine, as long as they are not Jews, because it's a ethno-religious supremacist ideology. I think that this is a disagreement that you and I have.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. If you want to add that, like the genesis of Zionism included, the displacement and the ravaging of the culture that existed there, then I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think that the establishment of Israel was like a good thing. I mean, it was tragic and a lot of bad things happened. But let me ask you, sir.
Okay.
How was filming that content? I just have to know what you felt, what you were thinking as they were doing the Fortnite L behind you.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
that.
No.
We're here. I don't want to talk about definitions. You got your Zionism, and let's do
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't.
This was a dumb move. Talking about like content cop and drama and all. It's just, to me, it's just you don't get anywhere, because like drama is so much more difficult to like pinpoint the facts and like logically dispute compared to like the politics of it. And also it does make it look like you care more about the interpersonal stuff than you do about the issues, which maybe you do, but the audience probably doesn't, unless they're these days it's hard to tell. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was fine.
Did you not?
I've participated in other YouTube videos as well in the past.
No, but that Fortnite L dancing.
Some of them feature sketches.
I noticed you weren't in the other shots. Why was that?
I think I was being interviewed.
Oh, really?
By
Who was
a
interviewing
journalist while that was happening.
Really?
I don't remember.
Really? Oh, that's convenient. I think you were embarrassed, frankly.
You
were absent from every other shot. I think you saw him doing that. I think you saw him doing that Fortnite dance, and you said,
"This is silly.
I got to get out of this." And by the way, I'm giving you credit for that.
I mean, Ethan, you're a comedian. You participated in some sketches. It happens.
I mean, shit. Yeah.
Really? You're one of your most famous sketches. You in a diaper? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, we've done funny things.
Okay, you know what? Let's not debate the merit of our comedy. You're right. I'm very hacky, and so are you. By the way, you believe that the likes were botted on that?
What?
You had said you thought the likes were botted on the content cop. Do you still believe that?
What? The likes were botted on the content cop?
The dislikes were botted. The dislikes, sorry. Yeah, you said it was brigaded and was botted. It was unnatural. The dislikes on the video.
I don't really care about this. I don't know. I mean, I don't recall saying this, but I don't know why this is a major point of contention. All right, so you asked that question.
No.
Let's get back to some other definitions.
Hold on, let me finish, and then you can do your definition.
Okay.
Did you think it was?
Well, it's not my definition. I want to hear your definition.
That's fine. I'll answer how you like.
I hope you know that, like, I don't know if you know this, but I didn't publish the content cop. Idubbbz did.
Yes, I know that, and I've addressed him thoroughly.
All right.
Do you know that
in your house.
He should have included the context of the CPS call?
What?
What? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Wait. I'm a little confused.
He's gonna gaslight the fuck. So the argument for the CPS call is going to go like this. Prediction. Hasan's going to say the call was anonymous. You have no idea that it came from Snark or a Denim's fan or a Bad Banana fan. And Ethan's argument would be, I'm not talking about the CPS call as a results-based analysis. We're talking about the intent of the people who spread the claim that could have resulted in the CPS call. Because even if there was no CPS call, Bad Banana and Denim's especially, spreading this lie that Ethan was allowing his kids to walk around, to crawl around and eat it, is a problem anyway, with or without the CPS call. Anyway.
you are asking me
Yes.
what my opinion is on
the video.
Idubbbz' content comp.
Correct. That's correct.
About
bro.
the
I do the
CPS.
news.
I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think it was more so about like your year-long conquest of deplatforming and also
Right. Well, 90% of the clips were from the episode entitled CPS Came to My House, Hasan. I don't know if you think that's an important detail. I sure do.
Ethan, I think you know my position on this, as I made it very clear. I think it's completely inappropriate to call
No.
CPS.
That's obvious.
I think it's
I'm
completely
saying
inappropriate
your
to call
friend
CPS
Hasan
on
you
a
made a
content
video
creator you don't
with
like.
did
I
a
don't know
total
why- I don't know
hit
why you
job.
think I have
All right, go
any
ahead.
hand
Ask me a
in this.
question.
I don't have any, like...
Go
dude,
ahead.
Listen
ahead.
to me. Listen, we're both content creators online. We both have received an endless wave of harassment. You and I have talked privately about this.
Hasan, I don't
when
care.
we
Let's
were-
just go
when we
on.
had a
You-
podcast.
I don't-
No,
I-
what do you mean? You
I
brought
don't-
this up. You brought it up. Hold on.
I
Let
know
me
what
say
you're
my piece.
saying. We've all been
brought it
harassed.
up.
The internet
Let
is
me
tough.
bring- let
Whatever,
me say
yada
my
yada.
piece.
Ask me a question.
No. Please, Ethan, please.
Because you're so
Please.
boring, bro. I just want to have an interesting conversation.
You know
Go
who
ahead.
else also told me that? Andrew Tate. Please, just hold on.
Wow,
And
I have-
let me
wow,
try
God
to
forbid.
explain my position to you.
Hitler drank water.
You and I are both content creators. We get
Nice one.
an
Good
endless
one,
wave of
Hasan.
harassment, doxing, swatting, all of this stuff. Okay, sometimes by the same people, ironically enough, by the same communities. You and I know we've had these conversations in private
been a while.
before we stop doing our podcast. And you know my position on this. I think it's completely
I know
unacceptable.
you're
because
against
I am victim to the
CPS.
same
That's
exact
not
things that
even
happened to you
interesting.
in this regard. I would never in a million years
Okay,
advocate
ask
for
me a
that sort
question.
of thing, and don't think it's appropriate.
Very
And I
good.
don't
Ask
know
me a
why you
question.
think that I have anything to do with
Because
this.
you're not you're misrepresenting what I asked you. I didn't ask you, do you think it's okay that people called CPS? I asked that the video that you participated in, which was a total hit job that used 90% of its clip from an episode of the podcast called CPS Got Called on Me and didn't even include the title of the podcast. Now, do you think that's fair?
I think you should take this up with Idubbbz instead of me.
Okay,
I
sure.
didn't
Ask me
make
a
any
question.
Editorial. Yeah, I didn't make any of the editorial
You
decisions.
just endorsed the you watched. Didn't he react to the full video? He didn't let them film it in his house. Yeah, it's part of your project. You were part of the project. Okay.
In Idubbbz' content cop.
I'm asking what you thought about it, okay? Not if you made it. It's pretty pretty obvious. Go ahead, ask me a question.
I'm sure it would have been. I'm sure that I'm sure that it would have been all right if he mentioned it.
It would have been all right.
I don't know why this is a major point of contention for you. I thought we
I
were going
love
to
this
talk
as
about.
well. It's like it's such an easy, like it's such an obvious concession, but like the way that Hasan will take this concession is like there's this thing that debate bros do this when they concede, but they'll make it seem like their concession is nothing. They'll just be like, even if it's something quite big, they'll concede and they'll be like, yeah, I mean, okay, I guess that's true. Like, yeah, and it just makes it sound like it's not conceding anything. What? Like a massive piece of context was omitted from this video about Ethan's interpersonal conflict online.
About Israel-Palestine.
We're talking about whatever we want to talk about. You had said that I have problems with your character. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, ask me a question.
But you having problems with my character.
Hasan, ask me a question or I'm
so
going to move
far
on to the next
removed from
topic
you
here.
asking me about Idubbbz' editorial decisions in his content cop.
I'm asking about your opinion on it. Go ahead, ask me a question.
Okay. So, do you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So you agree with the with numerous human rights organizations, the UN?
I already said yes.
Okay, great. No, that's important. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I also agree on this. If you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza, okay, do you feel like you have used your limited amount of time that you have as a content creator speaking out against Israel doing a genocide on the Palestinian population living in the Gaza Strip? Or do you feel like most of your commentary on that issue has overwhelmingly been to rail against people that are doing that?
Sure.
Pro-Palestinian
Well,
advocates that
I don't
you
know
feel
if-
like you've been wronged by, myself included.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but if you're pro-Palestine, it doesn't absolve you of criticism. That's something that you guys keep harping on.
Do I think my coverage? I don't think that's the case. I don't think that is the case.
Okay. Do you think my coverage has been like totally balanced? I would say
like, okay, why would you rail against anyone who opposes the Russian genocide of Ukrainians? Like, why would? Oh, because if they have takes that you disagree with, then you should probably still oppose those agreements. You should oppose those positions. Yeah, why not? What's wrong with that? Also, the response Ethan should give here is that Hasan is not pro-Palestine. That's not why people attack him, right? Hasan is not pro-Palestinian. He is pro-Axis. He doesn't really give a fuck about what happens to Palestinians. His first principle is supporting the axis of resistance. That's why he makes excuses for people like the Houthis, for Hezbollah, for Hamas. That's why he does that, because he doesn't like, even though the axis of resistance has killed more Arabs than Israel has. And they've also killed more Arabs than they've killed Israelis, but Hasan supports them. So people in Gaza who are protesting against Hamas, would you really go to them and be like, excuse me, do you guys think there's a genocide happening in Gaza against you guys? They'd probably be like, yeah. And then, well, isn't it interesting that you're protesting against the people who opposed the genocide, i.e. Hamas? Well, no, because it seems to be that quite a few people in Gaza who've been protesting in the thousands for over a month now actually seem to think that Hamas takes quite a lot of the blame for what's happening to them. This is what people in Gaza are saying. Look at those protests. Their chants are, Hamas are terrorists. We want Hamas out. Hamas are dealing in our blood. Hamas are gambling with our lives. We want white flags, not guns. They've been saying this in the thousands, despite all of the repression and fear and like murder that some of them are like, they're risking their lives to say this shit, whilst Israel is bombing Gaza. The protests are still going on. Yes, they've never stopped. People have been murdered by Hamas in the middle of this, in the last month or month and a half, and they are still protesting against Hamas. Can you imagine if Hamas just went to them and be like, isn't it interesting that you're opposing the people who also oppose the genocide? Well, no, because they understand that Hamas's actions are the reason Israel went into Gaza. Israel did not have plans to go into Gaza for a full-scale ground invasion before October 7th. They didn't even have protocol in place for that. The most we have evidence of, and no whistleblower said otherwise, the most that the IDF was prepared for was a border penetration of 70 people trying to kidnap soldiers. That's the most the IDF was prepared for. They didn't have protocols in place for a ground invasion. They didn't. What changed? Hamas launched an attack on October 7th. That's why that changed.
No, I've obviously given less time to the Palestinian perspective, and I think the reason for that is simply that...
No, not just the Palestinian perspective, Ethan. I think that rather than talking about that issue in and of itself, rather than talking about the genocide itself, every time you have...
Hasan, I'm answering your question.
Every time you've talked about Israel-Palestine, it almost always revolved around...
I was going to tell you why. Do you want to let me answer?
Personal vendettas that you have experienced from
pro-Palestinian
content creators.
Okay. Would you like me to... You asked me a question, so I'm going to answer it. The reason for that being is that I feel like I'm responding to a lot of that's been passed my way ever since Leftovers ended, starting from you and your community. Now, that's my answer to that. Now, let me ask you about this. This sword has a Nazi swastika hilt.
Oh, no. Drama.
Okay.
Do you disagree? What's funny about that?
I think it's funny because you've made this a major point of contention. That's why I think it's funny.
It's a swastika, is it not?
Yeah, it's a sword that is a bleach sword, as you know already, that has a hilt that has a Japanese manji sign on it. But yes, it does look like a swastika, as I've also
no, it's a Hindu symbol. What?
Noticed and have talked about on numerous occasions that you brought forward.
Yeah, of course you're conceding that because we fished this up. But yeah,
such as when I made fun of, I believe it was Alexa that grabbed it, and I said, "Oh, you immediately go over the swastika one." Yeah, exactly. Do you think?
Anyway, my point is, Hasan, if I can continue, my point is that you knew it was a swastika sword. So why did you guys choose to pose with this sword?
You know what? Again, I think it's silly to bring this up because let's assume he did it on purpose. Let's assume that Hasan did this to trigger a Jewish person, right? That they allowed this swastika sword to go in to trigger a Jew. Okay, let's assume they did. That's the point in dog whistling. Dog whistling is ambiguity. It's supposed to make you look crazy for bringing it up. That's what it's supposed to be about, right? So it's the same thing as when someone says all lives matter. The thing that people make a mistake with when they're protesting and they see people saying all lives matter is they go up and start screaming at them for saying all lives matter. Because now, to anyone who's not in the know, which, let's face it, is most people, you look like someone who is screaming at someone for saying that all lives matter, which, I mean, do they not? Of course all lives matter. So that's the point in dog whistling. It's supposed to make you take bait to look like a nutcase. So it's just a silly thing to bring up. I will say, if Ethan brings it up, Hasan is the kind of person who sees Nazism in everything. He sees Nazis everywhere. So it's ironic that he sees Nazis everywhere, but he doesn't see Nazis in someone who is holding up a swastika in a dispute that's about anti-Semitism. So that's a bit weird. That's, by Hasan standards, you would go mental for someone doing this. But again, it's useless to bring up.
Ethan,
answer that. Why was the choice made for this sword?
I'm gonna gently explain this to you again. One, it's not a swastika, but regardless.
Do you think it looks like a swastika?
I did not make this editorial decision. I wasn't even.
Do you think it's reasonable to perceive that as a swastika?
Well, if you didn't make the editorial decision, then it's okay for you to. Do you think it was a bad editorial decision? Do you think they shouldn't have done it?
Ethan,
answer the question. Is it reasonable to perceive that?
I don't think it was a deliberate decision that Idubbbz made, but I don't know. I don't know his mind.
Hasan, they're your swords, and according to the New York Times article, there was 10 options. So what's the chances that they chose the swastika one? That seems pretty slim.
Well,
you have 10 swords, don't you?
The week prior to that, I believe. I don't know the exact timeline. I don't really remember when they shot this, but I had the sword out because I was doing an Assassin's Creed promo. Do you feel like if I thought it was like genuinely a swastika sword, I would use it in an Assassin's Creed promo shot?
Yes. That's what we call a dog whistle, Hasan. And what you're doing is gaslighting somebody. You made a video. Let me make a point here, Hasan, because you're the king of microaggressions and understanding the perspective of minority groups. True. Right? So you made a video.
I am the king of microaggressions.
Participated in a video accusing a Jewish... Let me finish my point, Hasan. No. Stop. You are making a video accusing a Jewish man of exaggerating anti-Semitism while exhibiting the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. Do you not see this as a problem? Or at least, am I insane for thinking this is odd?
Ethan, take a deep breath.
Answer the question. I don't need you to console me.
I didn't even hear your question.
Bro? Are you mad?
Well, you should try listening instead of speaking.
I'm so mad, bro.
I'm just looking for clarification here. Do you think that I deliberately was using a dog whistle in an Assassin's Creed promo, or that it was a cool sword that was laying around because it's the only long sword that I have?
You have 10 swords.
I know, they're heavy. That's not a real sword.
So yes, I'm aware that it's not a real sword, but you had 10 to choose from. What does it matter how much they weigh?
Yeah, the other ones are heavy.
Let me paint a scenario. Hasan, let me paint a scenario for you, okay? Listen, okay? This is important. You participated in a video accusing a Jewish man of exaggerating anti-Semitism.
You can't claim the sword is anti-Semitic without claiming the anime being anti-Semitic. Yes, you can, you idiot. When my Indian neighbors have a swastika-looking symbol like this, when my Indian neighbors have this on their door during Diwali, I can say that's probably not anti-Semitic. But if someone uses this in a video that's trashing someone who is concerned about the rising climate of anti-Semitism, then I'm probably going to ask, who is not Hindu, then I'm probably going to ask that person a few more questions. Yeah. Me. What a brain damage. The genocide of the century. Okay, I guess Sudan, the Rohingyas, the Ukrainians, we don't give a fuck about them, do we? God damn it. Genocide of the century. Wow. You mean brackets, the only one that you give a fuck about? Yeah. Jesus, go away.
You exhibited in that video the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. 1 out of 10 of your swords that you have previously already stated is the, quote, swastika sword. So am I insane for you're treating me like I'm insane for bringing this up, but it sounds pretty reasonable.
I mean, it's a little insane.
So yes. Microaggressions just don't exist for Jewish people.
You're asking me why Idubbbz.
It's your sword, bro. I don't believe that you weren't there.
I'm not Idubbbz.
You were there, bro. It's in your house.
I don't know. I don't know why you're asking me.
Because
why
it's
I don't
your
show
house
that.
and your sword.
But I also
How long are they
but
talking
I
about the
also
sword?
gave you
man?
what
Oh,
my
no.
speculation is, and that is that
It was just
it's
a
most
cosmic
likely because
chance.
I had
Okay.
previously had it laying around because I had just done an Assassin's Creed promo.
Okay, if you say so. So if it's a cosmic fluke, which you claim, then why leave the photo up?
I'm not even in the photo. I don't.
I
think,
know
right?
it's in your
Am I
room though,
in-
and with your sword. Why leave the photo?
Every time he says like, "Oh, it wasn't my decision," I'm not even in the photo. It's like, okay, then why are you defend? You don't need to defend it. If it's like, yeah, this is completely fine. Also, I had nothing to do with it. Yeah, okay.
Up if it's a cosmic fluke?
Wait, why are you asking me this question? I don't know. I'm not. Ethan.
I'm sorry,
I am
Hasan.
not
Are you
Idubbbz.
unable to make value judgments on situations? Like, isn't that what you do for a living? Do you think that
I don't
Idubbbz
think-
should have removed?
I don't think it's relevant or that big of a deal at all. If that's what you're trying to get out of me, like, yeah, I think it's not.
Okay, so you're
it's
telling a
what you
Jewish
are
man who's
perceiving.
complaining about a very
And
odd
also,
coincidence that I'm crazy and I'm
It's a score with
exaggerating.
emoji on it, Ethan. Can we? Okay, you got me. All right. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, you got
Listen
me.
to
I put a swastika in the video calling you out for exaggerating
No, that's not what
anti-Semitism.
I'm saying.
You
I
got
didn't
me.
do that.
Yes, you did. You
Ethan,
literally
Ethan,
did.
I didn't do that.
Okay, laugh
But
about it.
again,
Go on.
It's not a swastika. And
Then
I don't
why should
even
you leave
think
it up?
you have that much of
not
an
a
issue with
swastika,
swastikas,
bro.
considering
It
you
just
drew
looks-
one on PewDiePie.
I'm a Jewish man, you moron.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Is
the
anyone in
Nazis
that
only
room
killed
Jewish?
Jews.
Was
Is that
anyone
what
in that room?
happened?
Did I
You know
draw?
what? I think I, as a non-Hindu person, should just have like a Hindu swastika in the background of my Sam Cedar hit piece. Yeah, I could probably do that whilst I criticize his opinions on Jews and Zionism. That'd be base, wouldn't it? It's not a swastika. I didn't put it there. My friend put it there. And I just left it there for the video and took it off when the video was done.
Do the Nazis only
swastika
kill
one
Jews,
time
Ethan?
on.
Do you think that Jews have an exclusivity agreement with like being offended or not offended by?
There are better things to call Hasan out on. Yeah, I know. Calling people out on dog whistles is stupid because the whole function of dog whistles is to make you call it out so that you look mental. Yeah, because there's always the whole point of dog whistle is plausible deniability. Yeah.
Nazi imagery. You've done a Sig Heil
Don't be-
approximately what 50 times.
Why did I
since
do a
Elon
Sig
Musk did it?
Heil? Why did I do a Sig Heil?
It wasn't. It was a
don't
Roman
know.
salute.
Because
A
because you
question
only
we are
watch
all
clips on Twitter.
wondering.
I was making fun of Elon Musk and trying to see if it was valid or not.
Oh, thank you.
And by the way, as a Jewish
Oh,
man,
oh,
are you going to
that claim I brought up was complete. Then wow.
tell
bad.
black people not to use the N-word?
Wait, what?
Are you going to tell black people not to use the N-word because it offends you?
Do you think this is an apt comparison?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that being able to draw the your anti-Semitism radar is completely out of whack.
And who
You
are you to
understand
say that to me?
Like,
You
that's the
posed
point
with
of
a
contention
swastika.
here. You're saying that it's not a swastika, and you know it's not a
Wait,
swastika.
wasn't Hasan on the show with Ethan when he was saying that like if Jews go back into the camps, like Ben should go in first? Ben Shapiro. Okay.
I mean, it
I thought
literally
that was
is a swastika.
defensible
No,
on the grounds
it's
that
not.
that's how Jews.
Let me see the
talk
swords
about
in
the
your
Holocaust
background. Why didn't you
sometimes.
choose one of those ones?
I didn't choose the sword, Ethan.
I don't believe you.
Do you think this is a productive use of our time?
Absolutely. So anyway, you say it's a weird cosmic fluke. Personally, if I think it was a weird cosmic fluke, you say basically it's not a swastika. The difference between the Hindu symbol and
But it's not.
okay, right. The difference between the Hindu symbol
What
and
you
the
drew on
Nazi
PewDiePie,
swastika.
on the other hand, was a swastika.
I'll finish what I said. Yeah, I'm a Jewish man. I depicted a
All right, that's
swastika,
cool.
a tasteless
No,
joke
I'm just making sure. Okay,
Idubbz
so you
shirt
can-
10 years ago. You
Yeah.
said this is the swastika sword, and you keep it in your house and you use it and pose it in photos, attacking a Jewish man. The fact that you can't
I
even concede that
jokingly
looks
referred
bad.
to it as looking like a swastika when my
So-
friend picked it up.
so let
if
me-
I genuinely thought it was a swastika memorabilia, do you think I would keep it in my house?
Dude, you're being so obtuse. I know it's not a swastika, right? And I know you know it's not a swastika, but it is literally a swastika also. Because the difference between a swastika and that Hindu symbol is this. You see what I'm doing? This is the difference. If you ask a Hindu person, would they walk around with a swastika sign?
Wait, so you know?
Fuck
so you
no.
know it's
They
not
know
a
that
swastika,
looks
but
like
you
a
keep calling it
swastika.
a swastika sword. So I'm a little confused.
Ask your Hindu friends if they would walk around with like a swastika brandished. They know.
Okay,
Are you Hindu?
I am not Hindu.
Okay, interesting.
No.
That's not the best argument because again, Hindus will put up swastikas for Diwali. They will. They'll put it on their doors and shit. But they also have the dots on them. And also, they're doing it because they're Hindu and because it's Diwali. That's why they're doing it. If a Hindu YouTuber did it not on Diwali and did it, like, if an Indian person who's not Hindu did it, like just a YouTuber, and it's not Diwali, and they did it because they were shitting on someone who in large part is complaining about the rise of anti-Semitism, then that probably is a problem. Yeah, context matters. You better don't. True. You better don't do that.
So anyway, it was a cosmic fluke.
Do you think
brandish
that only,
what I...
Do you think that only Hindu people have bleed swords? Like, what's going on?
We're discussing the symbol, not the sword. Okay, go ahead. So you think it was a cosmic fluke. There was 10 swords. He magically picked that one.
I can't. Again, I'm
and
speculating on
he left
the
it up.
decision making
If
of
it was
a
a
person
mistake, he could have
who
deleted it.
I'm not him.
Go ahead.
I don't
ask me.
know. Again, I'm going to repeat myself here. I think I'm doing.
You
this
don't
a
need
lot.
to. Go ahead.
I am not.
Ask me the next
Idubbbz.
question.
I don't know what was going.
You can't comment on someone unless you're them. Wow, interesting.
I'm not
on in his
accusing you of being
mind.
Idubbbz, Hasan, but you're acting like you're incapable of making value judgments on things because you're not
No, because
Idubbbz.
I already made the value judgment. I think you're being crazy.
Okay, well, Mr. Microaggressions thinks I'm being crazy. Very good. You have no problem telling Jewish people they're being crazy on what?
Yes.
It's like a blatant. Go ahead, ask me the next question.
Yes, I don't.
Do you think
I don't have a
if you
problem
could go
telling
back,
you're being crazy right now. You being Jewish has nothing to do with this.
Sure, I'm sure it doesn't. Do you think going back that it was a mistake to use that sword?
I don't really care about this at all.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that really shows where you're at on this. Go ahead, ask me a question.
Okay. So, since you believe that Israel is committing a genocide,
let's talk about the conflict. Let's go.
What are the appropriate steps that people can take, both in the Western world and also regional?
I know the answer to this. I know the answer. What you should do is you should obsessively attack social democrats who support Palestinian statehood and oppose the military actions and the war crimes and even oppose the war, bro. I need to remind people every now and then. I have opposed Israel's actions like in Gaza, like them continuing the war since the summer now. It's been a really long time since I've thought, okay, there's more. This is going beyond just trying to get rid of Hamas. Like, this is where, again, this is why Gallant left the government, right? This is why Gallant got fucking booted out of the government, because he thought that there needed to be a new phase of the conflict where they could actually start to focus on rebuilding at least some parts of Gaza to show the people living there that there is a future after Hamas. Like, and them going in now and doing what they're doing after the ceasefire, after Israel broke the ceasefire, that's indefensible as well. There's been no aid for like 60 days now going into Gaza. But no, what we should do, like, so that's my position on it right now. But yeah, what they should do is attack people like me, people like Ethan. They should just attack social democrats obsessively and call them pro-genocide. Careful, don't speak positively of Gallant. Gallant's a piece of shit, but he was right in saying that Israel's military accomplishments were kind of like fucking plateaued months and months and months ago.
Sanction and mobilize BDSM.
Thanks to $10. Gallant also said that Netanyahu was overstating the security significance of the Philadelphia corridor. And he was right. Turns out he was right. Turns out Netanyahu used a picture of a tunnel that was used for irrigation and called it a military tunnel. Yeah. Wild.
Actors can take against this entity doing a genocide by your own admission that you would consider to be appropriate, because it feels like throughout this entire process, you have set boundaries on what you think
just
is
killing civilians. That's the boundary.
As you have set boundaries on what you think is inappropriate.
Killing civilians.
Time and time again has
basically targeting civilians. Because people will, like Hasan, will try to get away with the fact that there was civilian collateral in ANC attacks, which is so dumb.
Said is outright anti-Semitic.
My boundary is killing civilians.
Okay.
Straight to the point.
Great. So
is that unreasonable?
Yeah.
That's a perfectly reasonable boundary to set.
Okay, good. So then we don't.
Yeah, but Hasan doesn't fucking cross it though, does he? Hasan doesn't accept that boundary. That's the entire. just so you guys know, the entire dispute in this debate is, and this should be the debate topic, this would encompass the difference between Ethan and Hasan, is can you support Palestinians without supporting groups that target civilians? That's it. That's it. Can you support Palestinian sovereignty, security, peace, prosperity, without supporting Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and the axis of resistance? And my answer would be yes. Hasan's is apparently no. You cannot. Because if you attack Hezbollah, you're being like Islamophobic. Or if you attack the Houthis or Hamas, you're being Islamophobic. Yeah. Fuck.
Disagree with you on that. Great. Okay.
So let me ask you the next one. Let me ask you about this Sabra tier list.
Oh, no, not the Sabra tier.
Let me finish.
Well, you asked and I answered. Go ahead.
We were going in such a good direction.
You can go on a little bit more.
That's the crux of the argument.
So, hold on. Everyone is complaining about my volume on my side because we're using Zoom instead of Discord. So my fucking
go ahead.
Audio.
It's fine. Take your time to get the audio.
My audio keeps going up and down. Okay. So one of the first conversations that we had, you and I had, that led to the Leftovers podcast ending was that you considered from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free to be an anti-Semitic slogan. You said that Jews feel like this is an exterminationist slogan and Jews fear this slogan in the United States of America.
Correct.
If you think that Israel's doing a genocide, do you feel like it is appropriate for Westerners in the United States of America and Palestinians and people of Palestinian descent to be able to use emancipatory slogans? Or should they?
It's not emancipatory, though. It's like taking over a sovereign state that has a right to exist and defend itself under international law. River to the Sea is not just liberating the occupied Palestinian territories. It's taking the country of Israel beyond that and destroying it, abolishing it. That's what River to the Sea is. But, yeah. I don't think it's inherently anti-Semitic, because people who say it do genuinely think it's possible in the near future to have them share the country as an equal democratic state. Unfortunately, that's not what would happen if there was no Israel and it was Palestine from the river to the sea. It would not be an equal democratic state for two people. It would be Jews having to survive as a minority in an Arab or Muslim country, Palestine, and you would just have to hope. You would just have to hope that it's the first Arab/Muslim state in the last 100+ years that's treated its Jewish minority well. Just take a roll of the dice, eh? First time lucky, or 15th time lucky. River to the Sea doesn't include Golan, though. They can have a state there, SMH. Well, Singapore and the Golan, Jewish Singapore. Tempting.
They go to jail under the Trump administration.
Okay, I mean, these are pretty extreme questions. Now, I'm not making a value judgment. I'm just trying. All I was trying to do.
Question is what's happening right now.
Bro, do you want me to answer?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain the Jewish perspective. I'm not trying to make a value judgment of it. But what I will tell you is that how do you feel about Norm Finkelstein?
Love Norm. I know he has said that it
Here's what he had to say about this.
I know what he said.
No. I want the audience to see this, Hasan.
Hold on.
Hasan, I want the audience to see this video. This is not going to be a gotcha moment
for you because I know Norm's position.
Good. I'm glad you know. Let's let the audience know, Hasan.
No. Hasan, why do you not want your chat to see it? Again, there's a reason Norman doesn't talk about this all that often, and there's a reason he says it when he was addressing those protesters in the campus protest. He's so fucking nervous about saying it, and then the protesters binned him. He gave his take saying, I think you should say from the river to the sea, Palestinians will be free, because that gets rid of the idea that you want to destroy Israel. And then all the protesters at the end just went back to saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. They just ignored him. Norman Finkelstein is scared of his own audience. He's scared of what he's cultivated, which is why Norman doesn't really talk all that much about political solutions. He's just a polemicist. He just stoys out. He just rants and raves. Doesn't really contribute anything in terms of like what he wants the future to look like.
Audience, watch the video.
I can have a nuanced and reasonable disagreement with a person that I actually admire.
So that's what we're having.
Like Norm. But
so it's nuanced and understandable with Norm. Let the audience watch the video, Hasan.
Okay. Go ahead.
Palestine will be free.
Let me go back. Yeah. Here's the Norm Finkelstein, a prominent figurehead in the Palestinian liberation movement.
I don't like the slogan.
I know. I have more positions that I disagree with him on.
The video
as well. Will be free. I think it's a bad slogan. I know the slogan from the 1960s, the 1970s. It was a bad slogan then, and it's a bad slogan now because it has too much ambiguity. When you say from the river...
Someone's going to hit me with the Cherry Act.
You and Ethan attacked Hasan first. Yeah, I criticized Hasan for supporting dumb takes and supporting terrorist organizations. And for, even when he pushes back, he still promoted the figures who were saying it. Like, Hasan still promoted people like Second Thought after he said that there's no such thing as an Israeli civilian. Yeah, of course I'm going to attack him for that. What are you talking about? That's a very good faith thing to be fucking angry about. Like, yeah, what do you mean?
To the sea, Palestine will be free. Obviously, a question arises. Okay, what happens to the Jews in that scenario? And some people will say, well, all it's about is everybody being free. But that's not what the slogan says.
Oh.
So
Damn.
I have, in recent weeks, I have voiced my concern that it's a bad slogan. And I said, just change it, tweak it. From the river to the sea, one person, one vote, Palestinians will be free. And you can't answer that slogan because all you're talking about is equal rights for everyone. From the river to the sea, one person, one vote, Palestinians will be free. And I've encountered
I don't know if he actually means the one vote thing, because I think what he's saying is good in that from the river to the sea, Palestinians will be free, which I think is good. You're laughing at Norm.
Routinely talked at campus encampments, college campus, Palestinian encampments as to, I'm not going to make much hay about the slogan in general. There's plenty of other slogans.
Well, you're willing to listen to him, but when I say it, it becomes a big controversy. I literally,
I'm
not.
Telling
it's
you
not even my
I can
opinion.
Have a disagreement with him on that, and you're forgetting one key factor.
What's that?
Okay, you're forgetting one key factor. Norm Finkelstein still ultimately will always say, while I disagree with the slogan because I think it scares people, it ultimately does not matter.
No, it's also because what it means from the 60s. Because again, when the PLO had their first charter and they were talking about the Palestine being free, they're very unequivocal in their charter. Palestine is Arab. They actually even talk about how like there's not like a Jewish nation. There's only allowed to be an Arab nation. PLO charter, even the revised charter, I believe, says the same thing.
And I'm not going to stand in opposition to it. He doesn't say it's anti-Semitic.
When have I opposed
it? He doesn't say it is extermination.
When have I opposed
he says
it?
That's what people think.
When have I opposed it?
If you think that Norm Finkelstein would be in agreement with you in any way, shape, or form on any issue, please have a conversation with him.
He's like this. Like, it's very clear. Like, it's not a shared nation. It's not one state for two peoples with equal sovereignty. It's Palestine is the homeland of the Arab Palestinian people, indivisible part of the Arab homeland. Again, appealing to fucking pan-Arab nationalism. And the Palestinian people are an integral part of the Arab nation. And then when it talks about Jews, claims of historical or religious ties of Jews with Palestine are incompatible with the facts of history and the true conception of what constitutes statehood. Judaism, being a religion, is not an independent nationality. So yeah, Jews, that's not a nationality. But Arabs are. Nor did Jews constitute a single nation with an identity of its own. They are citizens of the states to which they belong. What do you think they're saying here? That's what Finkelstein's referring to. He's not just saying it because Jews get scared of it.
Literally in agreement with me, like verbatim.
Okay. No,
actually, even more.
You said it was anti-Semitic. Norm doesn't think it's anti-Semitic.
Hasan, do you remember me advocating against it? Do you remember me advocating against it?
If he agrees with you on anything.
Sure, I'll ask Norm Finkelstein. Do you remember me denouncing that statement and saying people shouldn't say it?
I believe in our conversation.
No, it didn't happen. You're lying.
You said it was anti-Semitic.
I said it's perceived that way by Jewish people. All right, let's move on. The Sabra tier list.
Norm does not believe it's an anti-Semitic
Very
slogan.
good. I'll ask him about it. Now, let me ask you about
Are you actually going to do that? Because that would be wonderful.
Yes, I'm going to talk to Norm.
Productive.
We'll have a great conversation about From the River to the Sea.
Is it? Wait, can I ask you a question?
No. It's my turn.
Okay,
you spoke, and now it's my turn.
You know what? You go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very gracious of you.
Well, I mean, it's just a back and forth conversation, but
Yeah.
you seemingly have a lot of
Why
agreement.
does Hasan like to keep sending people towards his like academic heroes? It's just very weird because Hasan is supposed to be a political commentator. He's supposed to be the seasoned fucking political commentator. He should be able to hold up his ideas on his own. It's very weird.
This is not pertaining to the actual issue at hand. But
I don't know. The issue,
you
my
know.
friend, the issue at hand is your behavior.
No, I think the issue at hand is the genocide.
Well, we seem to be coming at this from two different angles, which is great, right? So let me ask you this. Hold on. You said it's my turn to ask, so let me do that. Is it my turn to ask a question or what?
That there's a genocide. You already recognize that Israel is committing a genocide.
I can care about two things, Hasan. It's very important to acknowledge that.
Don't you
Hasan
think
and the human shields.
I can care
Let's
about
go.
two things, my friend.
Incredibly narrow framework
Very
surrounding
easy.
your own personal.
Because Hasan, every fucking moronic, batshit, terrorist supporting, fucking ridiculous anti-Semitic comparisons of like Anne Frank to the Houthi, all that, you know, just like let's not talk about any of that, you know. Let's not talk about, or even the Sabra thing, even because there is a valid thing to bring up there. Why are all these like Hasan orbiters acting as if Israeli hummus is like cultural appropriation, as if more than half of Israeli Jews are not from the Middle East and have been eating hummus for like as long as the fucking Arabs have, right? Like that is a problem. But no, there's a genocide. Hasan's stacking up the fucking dead Palestinians as human shield sandbags. No one does it worse than Hasan. God, Hamas couldn't even hold a candle to the amount of human shielding Hasan's doing here with the fucking people dying in Gaza.
Feelings.
I'm not that smart, but I can care about two things.
Okay, no,
even
I
if
can
one
too.
is more urgent than the other.
You think your own personal feelings born out of your misunderstandings is more important.
Did I say that?
than
I said one
actually-
is more urgent than the other, referring to the genocide.
Oh, okay. So you recognize that
Hasan,
the genocide is a more urgent
Hasan,
issue.
please let me
but you
ask a
spent
question.
Almost all of your
Yes, very
commentary
good.
surrounding this issue
Very
on
good.
talking about your own personal feelings and how you've been wronged by people.
Very good. Let me ask you. So you claimed
Wait, can you answer that question?
No,
Does
Hasan,
that
you
make
asked your
sense?
question. It's my turn. I talked about how gracious you were, man. What happened?
Wait, but
I
does
said
that
you're
make
so
sense to
gracious.
you?
You're going to let me ask you a question. What happened?
Does that make
Don't
sense
make me
to
take
you?
it back. All right,
Does
let me
that
ask you a
make
question.
sense to you?
Hold on to that. Ask me after this. You defended Frogan's use of the Sabra tier list. What was your opinion on that?
Hey, sorry, fuck the Sabra tier. Like Frogan said that Jews in northern Israel can just all go back to Brooklyn because they all have houses there. That's probably, if you're gonna go for Frogan, that's probably more. Like, why is that in your community? That's so bizarre. That's mental.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. It's totally normal to act as if Jews have no place in the Middle East and that Jews eating Middle Eastern food in Israel is all fucking cultural theft. Yeah. That's totally normal. That's acceptable. Cooked.
I think that the Sabra hummus tier list is absolutely insane to consider anti-Semitic, and most people have already laughed about it, despite the fact that it was very damaging in terms of deplatforming a bunch of content creators that participated in this, egged on by yourself, by the way.
Yes. With pleasure.
And yeah, it's not.
It's insane.
Even remotely.
Okay.
It's not even remotely anti-Semitic.
Very
it's
good.
Like,
Let me ask you a
the
question.
cracker band that Twitch capitulated on.
So let me follow up with this. Have you seen the thumbnail?
The thumbnail?
Yes, that's what I said. This
For
is the
what?
thumbnail that's still up. Now, let me ask you this, Hasan. Here's Frogan's thumbnail for the Sabra hummus tier list. In the F tier is me and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is not in the tier list. He has never explored or used. Why do you think Ben Shapiro is on the F tier?
Ethan?
Whoa, answer the
walk you through this
question.
again.
What, you're dodging?
I'm not.
I love it how the original tier list was Arab, but the Turk is on top of the Arabs. That's brilliant, man. This is the Ottoman Empire. This is the dhimmi system. You know, the Arab Muslims, they're like they're still, it's still like Islamic rule, you know, they're still like on top, but not quite above the Turks, you know. The Turks still fuck them up eventually, and you know, a lot of Arabs revolted against the Turks. And then at the bottom we got the Jews. This is the Ottoman Empire. Fuck me. Hasan's subjects, Hasan's fucking Arab subjects of the Ottoman colonizer. Brilliant. Jews, if you walk past the fucking mosque in Fez, you can't wear shoes. That was actually a law in Fez under Islamic rule. They repealed it They allowed Jews to eventually wear shoes when they crossed past the mosque, and then people assaulted them. Oh God, Sultan Hassan.
Idubbbz. And
Oh,
I'm
but
not
you
Frogan.
can't make value judgments suddenly on your friends who you've spent all this time defending.
No, because I don't care.
Well, I do.
I don't. Like,
I think it's great you don't care.
Is,
Why is Ben Shapiro there?
I don't know. I don't care. Probably because he's also
Probably because
a
he's
massive
Jewish?
fucking. What?
Because it's the most most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube.
Do you think Ben Shapiro's Judaism is the reason as to why he would be on this?
100% without a doubt, yes.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Hold
go ahead.
on.
Take your time. I know it's a lot to process.
Okay. Yeah, this is a lot to process.
Yeah.
Okay, again, this is how you know I didn't give Ethan Klein a fucking debate coaching session, by the way. I didn't sit there and be like, listen, here's what you guys say. Because I would have said, Ethan, just ask him, is it not anti-Semitic to act as if Israeli Jews eating hummus is cultural theft? Why is that? Is that not anti-Semitic? And why not? Why do Israeli Jews eat hummus? Because the answer is not because they stole it. The answer is because most Israeli Jews are from the Middle East. That's what Ethan should ask.
I know, man. It's tough. You really don't know what to say because it looks pretty bad.
No, because it's so fucking stupid.
Well, tell
Ethan.
me then.
You look kind of dumb
So why is
right
Ben
now.
there?
You look kind of insane.
Okay, very good.
That's
Why is Ben
I'm having
there?
a hard time. Like, I don't know why the fucking Frogan made this thumbnail. And
Why
I
is
don't
Ben
care.
there?
I don't have any issue with this thumbnail.
Why is Ben there?
Of course you don't.
Because he's a
This is what he yearns for the Ottomans.
prominent defender of Israel.
You're
I
quick to
suspect.
say that Jews aren't the only Zionists, right? So why is Ben Shapiro, of all the people in the world who are conservatives, who are Zionists, Christian Zionists, why Ben Shapiro? Me and Ben Shapiro and F Tier, the two most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube? That's a coincidence, just like the swastika, huh?
Ethan,
These are two cosmic coincidences,
Ethan,
eh? Hasan, they're really stacking up.
the tier list that you're talking about. Let's first of all, the tier list that we're talking about was literally designed by a Jewish content creator who you advocated to ban, and he got banned.
Very good,
His name
and
is
I'm glad he
Rafi.
did.
You
He
called him
definitely
a
deserved
token
it.
Jew. You called him a token
And
Jew.
I still stand by that. The man is just yeah.
So you get to draw swastikas on PewDiePie, but Rafi can't say that there is a tier list here where Sabra
This is
Hummus
Frogan's tier list. This is her.
is the lowest. The Sabra Hummus, liking Sabra Hummus is the lowest tier.
Ben Shapiro.
And the highest tier is being able to get a Habibi pass. You, as a Jew, get to determine what other Jews are able to do. You're the Pope of the Jews, as Sam Cedar likes to
I'm
call
not
Ben
determining
Shapiro,
what they can
ironically
do,
enough.
but this
is that what's going on?
This is Frogan's bit. This is her stage. This is her bit. I mean, you can say the Jewish dude is the fall guy and did everything,
Ethan,
but that's not true.
Wait, so you get to draw swastikas, but Rafi can't even say Sabra Hummus is dog
He
shit.
can say whatever he wants. I'm not
Oh, so
criticizing.
he can,
By the
but
way,
you're gonna
you think
call
that
him a
my
token
criticism
Jew
is
for
that
that.
he doesn't like Sabra Hummus? Are you being serious right now? By the way, is that a beef? Hold on, what are you drinking?
It's a Dr. Pepper cream
Isn't
soda.
that who owns that?
Oh no.
I don't know.
The
but it's not
boycott.
on the BDS
Are you
national
sure?
list.
We'll double check.
I'm 100%
Hasan?
sure.
Okay, we'll double check that. It's not about Sabra Hummus, and like let's not be obtuse.
Actually, the BDS one is actually
Fuck
pretty
this.
funny too, because like you've been
Focus.
you consistently
Focus.
talk about how like I drink Diet Coke or whatever. When that fan came up to me and said stop drinking Diet Coke, it was not on the Palestinian National Committee's official BDS list.
Yes, it was.
And ever
You're
since it
lying.
has been on that
Does
official.
Coke not own Dr. Pepper? I know they own Fanta. I don't know if they own Dr. Pepper. What are we doing? When are we going to discuss IP? Again, I don't. If only I'd given Ethan a good sit-down coaching session, eh? I'd be like, listen, these people hate Sabra, and they will tell you they hate Sabra because they think it's culturally appropriated food. That's why, and that's why it's anti-Semitic, because it is you implying that Jews have no place in the region, that they're all foreign to the region, which they're not. At least half of them, more than half of them, are non-white. They're from the Arab world. Yeah.
Official BDS
They
list.
spoke Arabic.
You're lying.
I have not drank Diet Coke or purchased any Diet Cokes at all.
You're lying. It was on the list.
Wait,
Uh-oh.
what is
What? Yeah, it was on the list. You're lying.
what was on the list?
Oh
Coke.
no.
Yes, it was put on the list, and I stopped purchasing Coke, and I stopped drinking Diet Coke.
You
even though I
said,
love
you
Diet
know what's
Coke.
funny? You told her
Because I think it's like
Oh,
like
you remember what you
Diet
told her,
Coke
son?
wasn't it?
significant.
You remember what you told her? You said, "I'll just put it in a cup."
Yeah, no, I was joking with her because I thought that it was a ridiculous request at the time because it wasn't on the Palestinian National Committee's official boycott, divestment, and sanctions list, Ethan.
Okay. It's not about Sabra hummus, just so you know. Like, let's not be silly
Wait,
about
what is
this.
it about?
It's
Oh, Israeli boycott guide. Boycott the Witness News. Is this true? The owners of Dr. Pepper, the Rehman family, are staunch Zionists and support the Zionist state with investment and donations through their Alfred Landecker Foundation. Don't buy Dr. Pepper, don't sell Dr. Pepper. Interesting. All right. Rehman. What a name. Who owns Dr. Pepper? They're not here. Doesn't tell you the names of the owners, the people who own it. BDS movement, does this have it? BDS list? Holy shit. Coca-Cola does not own Dr. Pepper, though. They're owned by a separate thing. Unless it's like one of those things where you've got these like fucking conglomerate webs, but... Does this have the list, or it's a smaller list for this one? Which makes sense. Like, if you try to go for... So there are some people who think you should boycott Dr. Pepper, but others not. What is this one? Masjid Al-Aqsa. The parent company is owned by Jab Holding Company, which is a pro-Israel company. They support Israel through investments and donations via their Alfred Landecker Foundation. I mean, if that's true, proof. Oh, there they are, Jab. And that's got Krispy Kreme, Dr. Pepper, Pret. Oh no. It's okay, I don't eat Pret anyway, because I don't like French cuisine. Where's their Israel thing? I guess it's somewhere in this page. Oh no. Not good. Not good at all.
It's about what's Sabra means a Jew born in Israel. It's an Israeli company. It's everybody knows it's like considered like Israeli hummus. It's been on the BDS list. Everybody knows the connotations of Sabra hummus, right? Nobody. Yeah, I don't like Sabra hummus either. We're not talking about hummus. What I don't like is anti-Semitism perpetuated by your friends and swept by you. Now, why is Ben Shapiro in the F tier? That's a cosmic coincidence? Okay, let's move on. Very good.
Ethan,
go ahead. Next question.
Again, I'm not Frogan.
I know it's
and I don't know
I know
why.
I'm not
Frogan.
Frogan. I just support her unconditionally.
My friends, I've been defending for 2 years.
Also,
who can say
there is a tier list in front of me.
Uh-oh.
And it seems like a bunch of people, both
Ben
Jewish
Shapiro and me are in the F tier.
On the Loves Sabra tier list.
You're looking at the end. I'm looking at the thumbnail, bro. I'm talking about the thumbnail.
I know, but I first of all, again, I'm making inferences about editorial decisions that other people have made. I'm just simply speculating at this point.
Sure.
But you know, it's a.
Are you not embarrassed by this
joke.
armpit hair? It's so cringy, bro. It's like so weird.
Oh no.
I'm glad you changed that
Focus.
finally. On
Focus.
a separate note.
What?
I find it just so weird and bizarre that this was your thumbnail for so long. Also, ironically, wearing a Rolex hat, which is like probably the symbol of capitalist excess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a free Rolex hat from a friend of mine. I still wear it every now and then.
You're oh wow, who knew? So anyway, Ben Shapiro was accidentally in the F tier.
What does this have to do with anything? What's going on, man?
Yeah, I know. It's
happening?
confusing. It's very confusing for you. It's like a car crash, I'm sure.
So why do you think there's a Jewish
this is
man
a cosmic
in the A
mistake.
tier
Let's move on.
On the tier list, if you think that it's like all about anti-Semitism and...
This is your guy. Bro, none of these people are my guys. Obviously, I prefer Ethan. Like, I'm just saying. I'm a Lonerbox. What are you talking about? I'm just doing my thing.
Do you think that this is at least a bad coincidence?
Fair commentary. What the fuck?
No, I don't.
Well,
I
that's
really
fantastic.
Don't. No, I don't think it's a bad coincidence at all. I think you're trying to find with a fine-tooth comb like any incidents.
The Jewish man is crazy. He sees anti-Semitism everywhere.
Having a really hard time.
These are just cosmic mistakes.
I'm telling you. If you want my perspective, I'm giving it to you. I think genuinely, at a time when there is unprecedented levels
yes, I know. We can't talk about anything else. That's very convenient for you.
At a time when there's unprecedented levels of out and about anti-Semitism, with incredibly prominent, oftentimes right-wing conservative figureheads actively talking about Jews, okay, in deeply anti-Semitic fashion, you have lasered in on people that you can't even actually catch, quote unquote, dead to rights because they're not anti-Semitic.
Well, they're not wearing a shirt that says "I hate Jews," but they're walking around swastikas and doing Tierlist with Jews on the bottom. I mean, that's as close as you can pretty much fucking get without them just saying "I hate Jewish people."
Ethan, it seems to me like,
and I think you're acting really silly and obtuse right now. The guy who's all about microaggressions and understanding the perspective of minorities and stuff, telling a Jewish man that he's hallucinating anti-Semitism and won't even concede that this looks bad. Okay, fantastic.
No, you're hallucinating anti-Semitism in this circumstance.
Very good.
I'm not saying anti-Semitism is not a prominent fixture of American politics.
Very good.
I actually do think that anti-Semitism has exploded in popularity in American politics, especially. So that's not my point at all. I'm saying you individually right now wish that these people were anti-Semitic. So you're trying to find anything you can hold on to.
It's really not a stretch,
But once again,
man.
None of those people are me. So I don't know why.
Let's stop with the value judgment thing. Like, you can't make a decision. It sounds stupid as hell, dude.
Wait, I sound stupid as hell? What?
No, when you go, I can't draw, I'm not them. I mean, it's...
I mean, I don't know what... You're asking me what their genuine decision-making is.
Why would I want my best friend Idubbbz to be anti-Semitic? Why would I want my best friend Idubbbz to be anti-Semitic? Why would I want that? You think I enjoy my friends and people around me being anti-Semitic?
Do you want me to tell you why?
I would love
I don't think you're
to
going to like the answer.
Yeah, this is going to be good. Go ahead.
Okay. You want everyone that has criticized you to be anti-Semitic so that it makes you feel better about your position. It's not your own personal positions that you have explained to people that come across like you're using anti-Semitism as a shield to deflect criticisms against Israel.
This is
and that if they are actually out and about anti-Semites, that'll make you feel a little bit more comfortable, like you won the argument in your mind, and that your community would also finally go, oh yeah, you're right, you're a permanent victim in this situation. But because there's an unimaginable amount of anti-Semitism everywhere online, it comes across as shocking that you laser in on what you perceive are dog whistles when they're very clearly not even dog whistles at all. And I'll give you an example of this. Something that you did that I found very funny was you tweeted, or you don't tweet, sorry. You Instagram posted about my Theo Von podcast appearance.
Sure did.
My Theo Von podcast appearance where you were like, oh, I can't believe Theo Von didn't actually ask him about his like dangerous anti-Semitism or any number of different things in the conversation, including, I think you talked about Rick Scott. Now, we did actually talk. Theo Von and I did actually talk about Rick Scott. Let's pull that clip up, I'm sure you didn't see that. But hold on. Let me finish. But what I found very strange about
this was such a hype for
was
what?
the fact that Theo Von, and I didn't even know this at the time, the day prior to me, had actually interviewed Candace Owens.
Destiny.
I think you and I both agree that Candace Owens is an anti-Semite, right?
I think that he was on that 1-2 punch.
Okay.
Bow, bang.
Do you think...
You hit him with that anti-Semitism, boy.
No, Ethan. As your former podcast co-host, do you think that I am anti-Semitic, one, and if I am, if you think I am, do you think I'm as anti-Semitic as Candace Owens?
So yes, I think you're anti-Semitic at this point. I'm comfortable saying that. Are you as anti? Well, let me finish.
Let me finish. You asked me two questions, and let's address.
No.
What you think I'm doing that's anti-Semitic.
Hold the phone. You asked me two questions together. I'm going to answer both. You said, "Do you think I'm anti-Semitic?" After talking to you so far today, I can say unreservedly yes. I think that you are more anti-Semitic than Candace Owens? No. But I think your form of anti-Semitism is way more destructive and sinister. Candace Owens is outright... Hold on there, Hasan. This is an important question.
You think I'm anti-Semitic now? Because 2 days ago you said I wasn't.
I'm gonna answer.
Okay.
Your form of anti-Semitism is way more insidious because it's silent, it's tricky. She's out there just saying what she believes, and I respect her for that. Nick Fuentes is just out there. Nobody knows that what's his stance on Israel. Candace Owens' stance on Israel. But you're tricky. What you do is deny the heritage of Middle Eastern Jews, stuff like that. You accuse them of being always the oppressor, always everything. And by the way, you spent the first part of this debate calling me insane for what I think most people would perceive as blatant, obvious anti-Semitic
Ethan,
acts.
I don't think most people would look at what you're doing right now and
let's
think
not
that
worry
this
about
is
that.
a
Let's
sign of mental sanity.
Well, we'll have time to poll the audience afterwards. So let's continue.
Okay. All right. Well, look. Going back to the Theo Von situation, and you said I'm anti-Semitic, right? Yesterday you said, or 2 days ago, in the aftermath of the Sam Cedar conversation, you said I'm not anti-Semitic. So what has changed in that process? Is it this conversation that you and I had?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
Here's the clip, by the way. You accused me of not.
That it won't, is it?
You accused me of not mentioning that Theo Von did not ask you about Rick Scott. Let's go back and watch the clip.
Because,
no,
I said I didn't say.
Bro, you literally look like the dude from Beetlejuice. That's crazy. The small head guy.
Ethan, I use my words very carefully. I said in the Instagram story that you posted. I don't watch your stream that much. I don't. I only
in the
see
waiting room.
Bro,
that's crazy. Do you see the resemblance?
What?
You're this guy from Beetlejuice in this photo. You have like the same coat and shit.
Yeah.
It's
that's
Mr. Baby
you
Potato
are a
Head.
comedian.
I sure am, buddy. I see you laughing. All right. Anyway, so you accused me of misrepresenting what happened. Let's play the clip.
Right, $800 billion of Medicare and Medicaid that they want to cut.
God.
Mike Johnson goes on stage, goes on Caitlin Collins on CNN and says, "Oh, there's a lot of fraud happening." There's not fraud happening in Medicare and Medicaid on the point of the recipient.
Right.
It's happening on the point of the providers.
Right.
And that's why I got banned recently on Twitch yesterday. Because
Sorry about that one day.
So you just got back.
Yeah, Libs of TikTok was like posting about how I said something.
Wait, what is this?
And they misconstrued it as though it was a call to action to assassinate a sitting
why are you
US
showing me
senator.
this?
Well, you're saying I didn't bring this up, but or I'm saying that Theo didn't bring this up. He didn't. You brought it up, framed it in your own way to basically preempt a tough question.
Ethan, I said on the Instagram story that you posted about me, Dan, can you switch it back to Ethan?
Don't switch it back, Dan. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm switching it back.
Okay.
1 second.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
This is a really fucking.
I know, man.
This looks
Cringe
ridiculous
part of
on
this.
my
Sure
end.
does, buddy.
I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, this was
And it's not just because of the video.
The post as well, but the post I was referring to was make sure Theo knows how you feel about hosting a terrorist adjacent content creator, and I believe there was another post about it or something. But again,
I said I said he was irresponsible to platform you and not ask you difficult questions.
Yeah. So the question I have for you once again is like he had Candace Owens on. Like, do you feel like that's a little bit more damaging in terms of spreading potentially anti-Semitic narratives, or do you think that
I
anti-Semitic?
can't even concentrate on this part, man. It's just such a I don't know why Ethan thought it was a good idea to litigate like stuff like this, because it's just so. You need to remember that audiences are fickle. Okay, audiences are not absorbing anywhere near as much as people who are actually involved in these disputes, which means that you need to be able to make things very concise. Otherwise, you're fucked. And obviously, talking about the conflict itself will give you that advantage because people can refer to things that they know about beyond the content creators who are fighting. But yeah, I don't know. Apparently, they move on from it in about fucking 30 minutes. So I'm going to speed this bit up. I'm not caring about this. And I think it's an L for Ethan to be bringing it up as well. I think Hasan wins this part by default.
Anti-Semitism is when you feel bad personally,
Because
and
all he
that
has to
could be
do
any
is just
number
be
of
like,
different
what?
things that I've done.
You're
in any
bringing
given
this
moment.
up?
Yes, I think
Let's talk about
you were
the
just as bad
issues,
as her
bro.
in your own special way,
Yeah,
and that's why.
let's-
You think
And
I'm
you guys
just
were hitting
as
that
bad
same
as Candace
flavor.
Owens
Yes.
on anti-Semitism
Yes.
in my own special way.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Very
All right,
good.
Cool.
Very good. So let me ask you a question. Hasan, can I ask you a question?
Can you now officially not talk about Frogan or anyone else and tell me why I'm anti-Semitic?
Well, we're kind of getting
2
there.
days ago you said I wasn't, but
I already-
also for a year.
You're repeating yourself.
Well, I am, because you haven't answered this question.
I have literally
2 days
answered
ago
it
you said I
probably
wasn't
2 times.
anti-Semitic.
The reason
For
that
a
I'm saying you're
year-
anti-Semitic
for
is
a
because how you
year-
responded to my question at the beginning of this interview.
Ethan, for an entire year, you called me a virulent anti-Semite,
No,
a rabid anti-Semite.
never did.
You did.
You
You
did
went
not.
back and
I
forth
have
on it.
actually
Even
went back
Dan
and checked.
you on it.
I had said
Even-
that you spread anti-Semitism and stuff, but I never called you an anti-Semitic.
Whoops.
Anti-Semitic. I went back and
Oh,
checked.
so I
You're
was
lying.
just simply spreading
Yeah,
anti-Semitism.
I mean, it's a difference.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, can I ask you a
Tierlist
question?
is about Habibi, not Sabra. You're conceding to the framing. Yeah, we're not conceding to anything. I don't want to even talk about the tier list anymore. Stop it.
Okay, let me ask
oh
my
no.
turn. Do you think it's
All right, your
appropriate to accuse? Do you think it's appropriate to accuse any Jewish person you disagree with of working with the ADL?
No.
Here, for example, is someone using it to anti-Semitically.
Saying that Ethan Klein and ADL in unison.
Hassan, let me finish. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy.
Yes, I do. I do think that that's
You're getting ahead of yourself, man.
That's a valid thing to not only speculate, but also I stand on that for sure.
Hassan, I'm getting there. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy. Here's an example of it being used in an anti-Semitic way. I'm sure you'll agree. Timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I heard you in the ADL.
What is this?
This is your fan who ran up on me on Rodeo.
What a guy.
Who the fuck is this guy? My fan?
Yeah.
This.
You remember?
Wait, is this the? Is this the guy?
Yeah, you remember.
Wait. No, this is the guy that you claimed was my fan, right? He was calling me the fucking.
I mean, there's a clip of being like, "Yo, I love this dude." Anyway, who cares if he's your fan or not?
No.
The point is,
Hold on.
No,
you brought this
it
dude
doesn't
up.
matter. I'm showing him as an example of you.
It does matter.
Okay, fine. He's not a fan. I don't care.
You brought him up. Wait, what do you mean you don't care?
If I brought him up, Hassan, if I brought him up, let me finish my point.
He's not a fan of mine. Why did you make it seem like that
Hassan,
person was a fan of mine then?
Let me get to there, okay? You asked me.
No,
it's my turn to ask a question. Just because I brought him up doesn't give you the space to interject.
Is it because he rolled up to me
Let me finish.
To fucking clout farm? Is that why?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
I was very clearly disturbed by his presence.
Hassan, I think you know where I'm going, and I think you're scared.
This guy tweeted yesterday confirming he's a Hasan fan. Send me a fucking thing on Discord then, if that's true. If true, huge. If true, wow.
Yeah,
Ethan, can you answer the question? Why did you falsly claim that this fucking
because
random dude who does
he
not
loves
like
you, that you're his favorite person in the world? What do you mean?
Wait.
All right, Hassan, here you go, buddy. Here we go. You wanted it, I've got it.
Approaching you. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sorry,
I love you.
I'm so sorry.
I love you, bro.
You're like my hero, bro.
You're the GOAT.
You're the coolest guy in the world, bro.
Wow, how crazy.
Look gay in that.
I'm fucking. Is this another hysterical delusion?
If someone says they like Hasan's content, they automatically makes them the enemy. Why is that? No, you got it the wrong way around. Drubbicus. You got it the wrong way around. The problem is that this guy is actually a raging Jew hater. That's the problem. And it's like, well, why are Jew haters liking your content? Why do they like your messaging? Especially since your only overlap really is Palestine. You think this guy's watching Hasan for the fucking trans rights takes? Like, come on.
Yes, it is. And I'm going to
explain the economics analysis for the tariffs.
Wow, dude, I love you. You're the GOAT, bro.
We spent a good deal of our time in the encampment. If you watch the unedited full live stream, we spent a good deal of the entirety of the encampment running away from him because he kept trying to ask me dumbass fucking questions.
Okay, but that's got nothing to do with he's a fan.
For his own dumbass podcast.
You're derailing this, and I need to.
I'm not saying he was a fan until he started spreading LGBTQ propaganda. Yeah, because obviously, like, why would you even be confused on this? Hasan supports the Houthis. He supports Hezbollah. He makes apologia for Hamas. If you support those groups, do you think people who support those groups are not going to be anti-Semitic? Bro, if you know anything, you can't support a group that says, curse upon the Jews, death to Israel. They hate the Jews so much that they curse them twice, right? You can't support groups like that and not expect anti-Semites to like your shit. Of course they will.
Derailing it.
You
it's
absolutely
not called derailing. When I'm telling you I was there and I'm telling you the situation.
Very good.
You are nefariously making it seem as though this person is a massive
fan
of mine.
Do I need to play the clip again?
He was just trying to cloud chase.
I'll play it again. You know, I'm fucked.
You can play that clip again.
Oh my God!
I'll add subtitles.
Can I give you a hug?
Can you play the clip where he openly admits he doesn't know who I am and asks?
Drubbicus, you can stay. Don't worry. Just even come in VC afterwards if you want to talk about the history or anything. Yeah, if you want to talk about the conflict, why not?
People around because that also
you're my hero, bro. I love you.
You're the coolest guy in the world.
You're the coolest guy in the world.
Hold on, I think I look gay in that one.
I think I look gay in that one.
3, 2,
Ethan.
1.
Ethan.
Yes, sir.
Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan.
You okay?
If you think he was a fan of mine, why'd you call him a Sneeko fan when you interviewed him?
Because he's both. I mean, surely there's crossover.
Oh, yes, there's a crossover.
Do I need to play the video again? Okay, I'll do it again. Fuck it.
My producer and my camera op, March. My producer and my camera op, March,
I'm so sweaty, bro.
There.
I'm so sweaty.
And he's in the chat right now.
I have to interview you. You're my hero, bro. I love you, bro. You're the coolest guy in the world, bro. Hold on, I think I look gay.
Listen, he might not be a fan, but you can't accuse me of being delusional for saying that.
You are delusional.
Okay, very good. I'm delusional. Let me get to my point, please. I mean, so I'm not even asking you to endorse this guy. I'm just simply showing you.
I don't endorse him.
I know you don't.
He's not a fan of mine. So why did you claim that he was a fan of mine? Because he fucking
I'll play it again.
Chased.
I mean, I feel like we're running in circles, but I'll play the clip again.
Palestinian encampment. That's why. That's all it takes for you.
No, it was when he said, "You're the GOAT. You're my hero. I love you."
He didn't know who I was. He was just saying that so he could fucking ask for
He
an
literally
interview for his
recognized
podcast,
you.
for his PUA podcast.
Okay, who cares? I don't care. So let me
Wait,
move
now
on.
you don't
Do you
care.
want to talk about this
It
for
seems
2
like
hours, or do you want to actually have a
seems like
conversation?
this is a wait. Well, hold on. You can't just say you don't care all of a
Rebecus, stop crashing out. We're just reviewing the content. My God, stop crashing out.
sudden when you look like a fucking
Crash
asshole
out.
for
Mentally ill.
falsely
Therapy.
claiming that some random
I'll play
person
it
who
again.
stalked you
BPD.
is a fan of mine. You
I
said
heard
he
you
was
talk about
a fan of mine in, I believe, in,
Okay,
your,
I
in
lied,
one of your videos.
I lied
You
about
said he
him
was
being a
of
fan.
mine, and I was sending harassment
I
your
concede.
way.
Yes, very
Don't
good.
you think that's a big point of contention? Don't you feel like
I
this is a big point of
concede.
contention?
I concede.
Oh, we care about the personal stuff now.
I want to show you an
Petty shit
example
now.
of.
Do you see my side of this though?
No.
I think
Because like
no,
a
you're being
random
dishonest.
a random Sneeko fan comes up to me,
A random Hasan
wants the
fan
clout
comes up
chase,
to you.
and you wants the clout chase, and you turn around and you say that he is a fan of mine to prove a point, to make a false point that to imply that I'm sending people to harass you.
That's
Do you
not what I
feel like
implied.
that's appropriate?
That's a total lie. I have never accused you of anything of the sort. That is an outright horrific.
You did not imply that this
bad
person that was a
faith
fan
lie.
of mine
Yes,
was
I did.
actually harassing you.
Yes. When's it, now, that's a big logical leap, Hasan, from he's a fan of yours to you're sending people to harass me. That's fucking insane. And by the way,
Yeah, that's true. Hassan would never do that. Hassan's too much of a fucking Machiavellian fucking to do that. But what Hassan will do is he'll just promote the content of people who do engage in targeted harassment and promote all their content and grow their audiences and just let them do it like his little fucking attack dog, so he can just be like, I don't know about that. I don't support that. I just think they have brilliant takes on the Israel-Palestine conflict.
I mean,
did
you
he not
are
harass
a
you?
liar. You know that, right?
Did he not harass you?
Bro, what are you talking about? Did you
Did he not
send
harass
him?
you?
Did you send him to harass me? No.
Did he harass you and then
Yes.
you imply in your
Okay, who
video
cares,
that he
bro?
was a fan of mine?
Go ahead. When you're
Your mods told me to bite a curb such kind people in your community, Learner. I guess this is probably the first political community ever where someone's told someone to kill themselves. Yeah, that never happens in other communities. Never, never met a Hasan viewer who ever called for violence, or any of the other ones. Never.
Leading the
Go-
audience to believe.
I'll wait.
Leading the audience to believe. Here, we have a clip, by the way, Dan. If you want to play this supposed fan of mine, since you guys are
None of us said that.
playing clips over there.
By the way, this was
you can
a
probably
while
play-
ago.
Oh, it wasn't even a mod. Okay.
He turned on you
timestamp.
when he saw that you supports trans rights. I know. He spoke ill of you.
No. Even before he
Bro,
actually
who cares?
meets
I'm
me.
not even mad. I don't care about this guy.
No, well, seemingly you care enough about it that
I'm
you
just-
brought him up here and you used him.
You didn't
in
even
the
let me
past.
explain why I'm showing
You
it.
used him in the past to act like I was sending
Bro,
hate
you're
your way.
terrified because you know where this is going.
Uh-oh.
I have no idea where this is going. This has been a journey.
Well, how about you let me fucking speak, and then we can figure out. We can take the journey together.
Can you play this clip though?
So this clip is just an example. Not that you're endorsing him. Not that he's a fan.
Can you play? Dan, I sent you a clip.
I passed it along. It's out of my hands.
It's the
I'll play it,
first
I'll play it.
introduction of this
Yeah,
character onto the stream where he's like, "Who's this guy?"
I'll play it. Yeah.
Pothead or Potman. Is that it? Hey.
I could be on. Are you guys doing interviews? I'm Palestinian. I know I look Jewish.
He doesn't.
Oh, no, we're just
I
streaming.
know I
Really, I
look
look like
Jewish.
The guy, normally the answer would be yes, but he's busy right now.
What are you guys doing?
You're not there.
We're just streaming.
It's live stream.
Oh, live streaming?
Yeah.
Dude.
You're not even in this clip, bro. What are you talking about? You're not even present.
Later.
You're out.
What?
You're out playing with swastika swords or
Yeah.
something. You're not even in this clip.
Dude, why?
Oh, no.
Chat. I think he's showing it on his side. You're not
played
seeing
it.
the clip. Yes. Yeah. He's
It's
he's showing the clip.
okay.
That is
Can I-
that is
bro.
the first introduction of this character onto the broadcast, and he doesn't know who the fuck I am. He just sees cameras and goes, "Oh, I would like to do interviews with this person who is famous." It seems that was the whole point. The reason why I showed you that is because he was never a fucking fan. And then when he saw the full extent of my viewpoints, he started calling me the F slur. He's a Sneeko fan.
Hasan, in that clip, he doesn't see you. You're not there.
Ethan, he is a clout chaser and
Fine,
not a
bro.
fan.
I don't care. Who cares? Let me ask you a question.
I do care because
okay, very good.
I do care because you have made an inference.
Oh my
that is
God,
erroneous.
dude. You are dragging your feet on this
that
topic, bro. It's getting.
I think I might know the clip they're talking about. I think he did say something. There's another clip where he says, "Oh, where's who's that guy with the cameras?" They say, "Oh, it's Hasan." He's like, who's that? He's like some pro-Palestine guy. He's like, "Oh, cool. He's got loads of viewers. How many viewers?" He's got like 20,000 or some shit. It's like, okay, wait, the guy got excited and went over. So that could potentially true. Yeah. But the problem is that you don't need a particular person to make the argument that Hasan attracts anti-Semites because he supports anti-Semitic organizations.
Ridiculous. Can we
You've made
please
an
move on?
That is ridiculous.
This clip you sent didn't prove me wrong at all.
But you gave them the wrong clip. Whoops.
You're not there. And you were never there, Hasan. Okay, let's continue, please.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is an example of someone who I think is anti-Semitic. You probably agree with me on that, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. He's not a fan of yours.
I think that guy.
Yeah.
That, I mean, from what I've seen, any number of different things I've seen from that dude, I think he's like a right-wing dating coach or something.
Yeah, he is. Dating Money 101, baby. Like and sub. All right, so here he is using the ADL. He accuses me of being in the ADL, and I'll play it. Operation?
Okay.
I don't know, but I heard you survived it, and I heard you survived the Holocaust.
That timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I heard you're in the ADL, bro.
Bro.
The ADL? No, I'm not. All right, so he says, I heard you're in the ADL, bro, which, like, obviously is... You know, I perceive that as anti-Semitic.
I don't think you're in the ADL, Ethan, if that's what you're going to say.
Well, you said, and I'll quote a tweet that you made. Okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You said, I'll quote, he worked with the ADL to make Zionists a protected class on Twitch. Now, that is an outright lie.
Worked with.
I don't think it's an outright lie.
I worked with the ADL.
No.
Sorry.
Hasan's going to say that, like, he was trying to pursue like the same or a similar end. Is that what he's going to say? You had similar goals? That means you worked with the ADL? No fucking way, bro. Hell no.
I worked with the ADL? What does that mean?
Yeah, as in like worked alongside. I don't think you're in the ADL.
Oh, that's what you meant when you said I worked with the ADL.
These mean the same thing. That's how the English language works.
Just incidentally together. You didn't mean that I worked with them privately to get people banned. Of course not.
God, he's so fucking stupid to think that he can get away with that.
Didn't you say you choose your words very carefully?
Alongside the ADL.
You just told me briefly ago, you choose your words very carefully, Hasan.
Not always. I'm famously...
Okay, we're walking that back. Sometimes I speak out the side of my mouth when I say you work with the ADL. Here you are again repeating the lie with Steiny on video. Go ahead. You had time
constantly come after me when his knows I'm not anti-Semitic and making these inferences that I am and like partnering with like the ADL and
partnering with the ADL. You want to unpack that one there, buddy?
Yeah. Again, partnering with the ADL. That is precisely what took place. I have
never spoken to the ADL, so what does that mean?
I'm not saying you directed the ADL
Do you know
to take
how
action.
silly you
Partners. I am kind of saying
Partnering.
that. I am implying that you directed the ADL to take action.
Well, that's a defamatory claim that has zero proof. And frankly, it sounds a little Jewish conspiratorial.
If I thought that you worked for the ADL, I wouldn't have said
not
you worked
spoken
with
to the ADL.
If you said they worked for the ADL, then that wouldn't mean, but working with, how the fuck does that, he would have had to say worked for, but that would have been more, like what? That would have been the less ambiguous one. He's just like reinventing how sentences work now.
You worked for the ADL. Now, what's interesting to me, of course, about this is that
I do not work with the ADL
for these bans.
Hasan, I do not work with the ADL.
You were a part of the mass smear campaign.
That is not working with the ADL. Would you say that
falsely
I got nothing to do with the ADL? Blame Frogan for doing a racist fucking panel at TwitchCon that became a viral story independent of me.
Panel, Ethan, just like cracker is not an anti-white term, except public pressure clearly works on Twitch, and they make erroneous bans when they don't want people coming after them.
Here's Frogan repeating the same lie that she heard from you.
Pressure on numerous instances.
This is what she learned from you.
They give you free passes if you support terrorist organizations, even though they have a specific TOS against it.
Power to push people to bully and harass me including weaponizing propaganda organizations such as the ADL to get me banned off Twitch because I made a joke.
So she said I weaponized the ADL. You said I partnered with the ADL. You said I worked with the ADL, but you didn't mean that I spoke to them. You just meant that we were magically skipping along and happened to just, without even seeing each other, just working together in perfect harmony and love. And by the way, I'm pretty sure you're implying that I worked directly with them on this.
No, you are. Yeah, don't say you're pretty sure. He is. He's just trying to wiggle out of it now by pretending to not know how fucking like the English language works.
No, I don't. I don't
okay,
think you worked
well, you doubled down on
them.
it. You said that you do believe that, and I just want to let you know that that is a
No, I don't think you directly work with them. I think your goals are aligned on this. Yes, and
but then for Mr. Precise Words, say that. Don't say you're partnered with the ADL. Do you understand? You said partnered with the ADL. Me, a Jewish man, you accuse without any evidence at all of being partnered with the ADL.
Ethan,
you're now trying to rewrite history and say I said you were working besides them. You are a liar.
What are you talking about?
You are a virulent fucking liar.
Ethan, did you or did you not take ownership over the bans?
I think, yeah, I might have.
But that means you worked with the ADL. Oh God, the fake gotcha. He's such a fucking debate bro, man. He's gonna do like a fucking theatrical fucking victory lap because what? Because Ethan played part in someone getting banned. That means he worked with the ADL. Just so you know, the reason to work with the ADL is annoying if you're Jewish is like because people always get conspiratorial around Jews even when there's no conspiracy, right? Like this happens, it must be because you coordinated with this other like nefarious Jewish organization. It's always this shit, yeah.
Does that mean that I'm working with the ADL?
He's just looking at his chat.
Hey Hasan, can I ask you a question? Are you working with the Neo-Nazi Party of America? Because they're also anti-Zionist. No, seriously. Are you working with the neo-Nazi group of America?
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, they are. Yeah, the neo-Nazis in America are anti-Zionists. Sneeko, that means Hasan's working with them towards a common goal of abolishing Israel. Here's Sneeko saying, free Palestine, abolish Israel. Here's Hasan saying it. Did you... Got him!
Who's also anti-Zionist?
Ethan,
do you work with them? Are you affiliated with them? Are you partnered? Are you partnered with neo-Nazis? Or do you guys happen to have the same goal and are completely related?
Yeah. Here's a parallel for you. Have I taken credit for a neo-Nazi anti-Semitic incident that took place? Because if the answer is yes, if neo-Nazis actually engaged in an action, neo-Nazis actually, not like you're fucking hallucinating.
Wait, hang on. Didn't he take credit for more people supporting Hamas, like an anti-Semitic organization? Okay. He took credit for that poll that had Jewish youth being more sympathetic towards Hamas than they used to be. No? Can you say I did this? Okay.
Nations. Something.
Wouldn't neo-Nazis hate Hamas because Islam? Again, common goals. Like, Hitler didn't think Arabs were equal, but he did like to work with some of their leaders, you know? Namely, Hajamin al-Sundowni. Or
that we all agree. Like neo-Nazis did an anti-Semitic incident and I took credit for it and I said, this is awesome. I'm glad that it happened. I made numerous videos so that they would do this. Yes,
I was on the tier list, bro.
In saying that
it was literally targeting me. I was on the tier list. Why wouldn't I respond?
Ethan,
I don't have to be a member of ADL to respond to someone harassing me. Are you fucking
to my words,
dumb?
Please listen to my words.
I'm trying, but it's just fucking lies and filth and like empty air.
From your perspective, my association as a 10-year fighter of anti-Semitism, my association from your perspective with anti-Semitism is like something that is so laughable that I don't even know how to describe. Like you're like, oh, it's a swastika sword, but then you admit that it's not a swastika sword. That's how loose this association is. But on the other hand, I can't say that you have worked alongside
that's not what you said. You said I'm partnered with. Partnered with. You are lying. You are rewriting. You are not taking accountability. You said I'm partnered with the ADL.
Ethan, I can't take accountability for your hallucinations.
Hasan, do you think that the normal, reasonable person watching that will infer that we were just coincidentally working the same, or that I was working directly with them?
What do you think a reasonable person
the average person would conclude from saying I'm partnered with the ADL?
Makes them look
what do you
mental.
think a normal, reasonable person would infer when they hear you,
bro? You are
Ethan
literally
Klein,
gaslighting me. It's
numerous
so
videos
obvious what you
demanding
meant.
the bans of Twitch streamers, and then after they are banned, you say, I'm glad that they got banned. I take credit for it.
That means
what
you
would a normal,
partnered with
reasonable
the
person
ADL.
I was on the
from
tier
that?
list, dude. I was responding to them. It wasn't like a fucking like. It wasn't like I went out of my way to get them banned. I responded to them. I was on the tier list. There's been 3 instances, I think, of, in my opinion, very credible accusations of anti-Semitism. You've accused me of hallucinating all 3 now, which is very convenient.
No,
and also,
because they're not credible. We are not in agreement. These are not credible allegations of anti-Semitism. These are hysterical hallucinations of a person who desperately wants all of his critics to be anti-Semites so he can feel comfortable
glad this is on record.
in the unique position that he has created for himself.
I'm so glad this is on record. So you think?
Yeah, I'm glad you. Yes.
So you think that you think a reasonable person would hear you say he's partnered with the ADL? And not think that I was working directly with them?
I think a reasonable person will hear your own words and think that you probably worked directly inside of the ADL.
Have I ever mentioned the ADL?
I didn't even make that inference.
Have I ever mentioned the ADL?
I didn't make that. Fuck me, man. Oh, he's such a fucking slime, dude. He's such a slime.
You took credit.
Did I ever mention the ADL, Hasan?
This is where, again, Hasan's not clever enough to do the fake concession again. He knows how these work. All Hasan has to do is like, yes, Ethan, okay, I fucked up. You didn't actually work with the ADL. I shouldn't have said that. I should have said you're pursuing exactly the same goal as the ADL. Okay, can we move on? You just say that. Just do the fake concession. And then Ethan looks like he's got the concession, but he can't really be like, well, it kind of doesn't change the fact that you like. It's a big deal that you accuse me of like a conspiracy with some fucking quite unpopular like Jewish organization. Okay, but he can't do it. Can't think on his feet.
Answer the question.
It doesn't matter. You took credit for the band that the ADL pressured.
Do I ever mention the ADL in my entire fucking career?
Uh-oh.
Actually, I mentioned them once, but I didn't even know what they were, frankly, if you have the thing. Did I ever?
Yeah, it's a clip where you are saying, I did that shit. I'll fucking take credit for it. You know who did that shit? The ADL did. You are taking credit for something that the ADL did. I'm not even making that inference.
Well,
You're
they
saying,
attacked me.
Which one do you think? What do you think the average person would think in this situation when you are...
Would Hasan ever use this if it was 2017 and the ADL got, like, let's say the ADL got Fuentes banned, but Hasan also wanted Fuentes banned. Does that mean you would say that Hasan was working with the ADL? You would never allow this thing fucking to slide. It's so stupid, for God.
Saying that you did that shit, and it's the ADL's pressure that caused these people to be banned for such
I was
ridiculous,
being silly. I don't care. Listen,
not anti-Semitic thing at all.
I was being silly. They attacked me. I responded. Do I know?
Do I know
who?
Silly.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay. Well, all right. I guess we can move on.
Do I
then.
think
Now
I got
you're being
them banned?
silly.
I don't know. Who knows? You know. I think that
you got a Jewish content creator alongside multiple Arab content creators banned off the platform for 30 days.
There's a reason they call him token,
and then the
my
ADL
friend.
actually reacted.
You spend time being a token, you're going to get spent.
But it was just silly. You know, fuck them.
You want to cash in on your Jewish friends anymore? Or can we move on?
Whoa.
Am I what?
Would you like to cash in on your Jewish friends more, or can we move on?
Cash in on my Jewish friends.
That's right. Do you know any Jewish people that aren't anti-Zionists?
Yes.
Who?
I'm not going to review. I don't want to. They're normies.
Okay.
I don't want to dox them.
You're lying. You're
No, I'm
surrounded.
not. I'm not lying.
You're absolutely lying.
Dog, I live in West Hollywood. Do you think I'm not around Zionist Jews? What are you talking about?
Do you know them? Are you friends with them, Hasan? Holy shit. Fuck me. What? So they're normies, as in you don't really promote the voices of people who... What? Yeah, you don't promote the voices of commentators, Jewish commentators, who don't represent the minority opinion. Because most Jews are Zionists in America. Easy.
Yeah, do you pass Jews on the street? Yes. Are you friends with...
No, I'm friends. Yes.
Okay.
I am.
I don't believe you.
And they've treated me with much more dignity.
Hasan is friends with Zionist Jews. Uh-oh. Bada panada. Uh-oh. I hope he doesn't know that. Fuck. Uh-oh. What's Hasan doing? Hanging around with a bunch of Zionists? Friends. Because to Hasan, Zionism is Nazism. Zionism is genocide. Why are you friends with a bunch of fucking genocide heirs? Genocide connoisseurs. The fuck?
Than you have, as a matter of fact.
Well, yeah, because they're not on the receiving end of an insane fucking harassment
I can have a more normal
campaign.
conversation with
Why
them
wouldn't they?
than you, seemingly.
All right, so you think that
they would most likely
just
laugh
to recap?
At all of
do they think Hasan? Do they know that Hasan thinks they shouldn't be allowed to be fucking dog catchers?
This
just to recap here, so we can move on. I mean, did the random Zionist Jews that are treated you so kindly, did they have CPS show up to their house or skulls sent to their house?
Oh,
Ethan, I didn't do that.
Ethan,
I didn't say you did that.
I don't know why you're bringing that up.
I know you don't, but
that
you're
has
acting
nothing to do with me.
Part
I'm not
of your
in
shtick,
support of
Hasan,
that.
is acting obtuse when you're caught in the corner.
Okay. All right. You've dominated the conversation so far. I think we should get back to some stuff that
I agree. Let's just summarize.
Please, let's not talk about this.
Please,
let's not talk about how it's people that I actively promote who were spreading that fucking theory. That oh god.
Put a cap on this. Just a cap.
And making these
you're doing the
that
thing
I
that I'm
am
so
and
critical of you on.
Partnering with like the ADL and
you says so. Just to put a cap on this, and we'll move on. You said I am quote partnered with the ADL, which you now claim was just a. You didn't mean that I was working with them. You mean that we had the same goal. Okay, very good. We'll see how that plays. Go ahead. What's your question?
Okay.
You okay?
It's interesting because you're currently doing the thing that I'm criticizing you on, where you are looking at a situation that you recognize is a genocide. And
they're human shields. Get them up.
And your only
Put them up.
concern.
That's not my only concern. I care about multiple things, my friend.
Yes, you can. But these are really stupid things to care about, Ethan.
I mean, that's easy for you to say.
Jeez,
you're the one being accused of it.
Care about. Fuck me.
Let's just let's ask the accused how serious their crime is. Fucking brilliant.
Ethan.
O.J. Simpson, do you think that this is a serious court case?
Do you think that
No, I don't.
Well, can I just be allowed to promote serial harassers and doxers and glaze their content and grow their audiences that they will use in targeted harassment campaigns? Can I just do that? Because I've got a bunch of people are dying in Gaza. Please. Jeez, I should have known this. I should have just worn a Ukrainian flag every time people attacked me. Holy shit.
Fucking there it is. Let's let him free.
You think that the Sabra Hummus' shit tier is akin to O.J. Simpson killing someone?
No, obviously not. You're being obtuse
Then why
again.
are you bringing up stupid fucking
Because you're accused.
parallels?
You are saying that the accused, right, can dictate how serious the accusations are.
Okay. All right. Ethan.
I'm partnered with the ADL. Remember what you said.
You have in the past talked about your pro-Palestinian bona fides. You have
what do you mean
talked
bona
about how you
fides?
gave my fundraiser. What?
Sorry, what do you mean by bona fides?
Like you've claimed that you are a stalwart ally of the Palestinian cause.
Correct.
You tried to also say this to Sam Cedar as well.
Mm-hmm.
You brought forward the fact that you had given $6,500 in your context puke that you did.
Hey, the context puke. Get 'em!
Further indication that you are pro-Palestinian. Even though you then turned around and actually criticized additional fundraisers that had taken place, like the Creators for Palestine charity that generated $1.3 million, including the fundraiser that you initially had given $6,500 to as a reason for why you were such a staunch ally. Why did you turn around and say that pro-Palestinian fundraisers are actually completely irrelevant in the grand scheme of things and completely useless? Do you think that pro-Palestinian charities are simply there to make yourself feel like you're pro-Palestine? Do you feel like $6,500 was enough for you to spend the rest of the year actively deplatforming pro-Palestinian content creators?
I'll answer your question. So I claimed when talking about, now, by the way, this is something I criticize you for, which is, being obtuse, mischaracterizing arguments, and basically just being a prolific liar. So here's what the conversation was about, right? I was talking about how when you're talking about activism, raising money isn't the most important thing because it can only do so much. There's other ways to do effective activism, like protesting, et cetera, working with Palestinian organizations. So I'm just saying, my point was not that.
But you wanted me to be deplatformed
Let me
as a
finish.
virulent anti-Semite, and I've done all of those things.
My point was that not that raising money is bad or dumb or pointless, as you erroneously claim I said. My point was that it's not the most effective thing in the world, and there's other things. It's probably like the least effective form of advocacy you can do. That was my opinion.
I don't think that's the case, and I don't think that the Palestinians that
What's not the case?
those,
what I said or what I claim?
No, your claim is wrong.
Okay, that's fine.
In terms of
disagree.
the fundraisers not being important.
That's fine.
So we've established that you claim to be pro-Palestine, and yet you've spent all of the genocide coverage criticizing
attacking people that
who
harass
are
me,
fundraising, creating, working with Palestinian organizations.
I never said it's not important.
Interviewing Palestinians from Gaza.
Hasan, being an advocate for Palestine does not absolve you of criticism. Stop with the silliness.
Claiming that they are anti-Semitic. No,
Good.
this does
Concise.
not. Because your criticisms are ridiculous. My point
I mean, that's
kind of
up to other people to decide at this point.
Your criticisms are in your own mind. Like you have hallucinated an alternative
By the way,
reality.
gaslighting, anti-Semitic trope, this is what dog whistles are. You whistle to other people, and it's subtle enough that you have plausible deniability so that when you get accused of being anti-Semitic, you can call the accuser crazy, which is exactly what you're doing. You are a fucking anti-Semite, and you've been caught out 3 different times calling me crazy for very viable, very credible examples of anti-Semitism that you should at least be able to admit are at least not insane. Maybe a misunderstanding, but not insane. But no, according to you, they're all hallucinations. So go ahead and tell me why you're not dog whistling.
Yes, because people having an issue with your statements and with your coverage as a prominent content creator with a relatively progressive audience, your coverage has entirely focused on
wrong.
your own personal feelings.
Not entire.
And a lot of misplaced paranoia from people who are
there
criticizing
you. Go, dog whistle.
You literally think.
Can we get a whistle soundbite every time he calls me paranoid or hallucinating?
Okay, we're about to leave the drama. We're about to leave the drama. We're exiting the interpersonal shit. Yeah, let's go. Let's get to the fucking meat. Dense Pixel, thanks for $5.
Like you, I don't know anymore. And I don't think it's because of anti-Semitism.
I definitely don't
develop
like you.
Anti-Semitism after
let
doing a
me
podcast
stand on
for 2
business and say
years.
I think you're a terrible person. And
this is from Dating and Money yesterday. The guy, I was a Hasan fan in the clip until he started propagating LGBTQ propaganda. H3 Productions. Nah, this is just a troll. It's definitely not that Hasan's rhetoric on Israel-Palestine would attract anti-Semites who support Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and the Axis. That's definitely a troll. Definitely made up. There's definitely no Venn diagram there between Hasan's rhetoric and fucking crazy anti-Semites.
A liar, and I don't like you at all.
I know. I still wish you well. I do. I wish you well, and I really do.
I wish everybody well. Everybody, be well.
No,
all right, let's move on. You got to. You want any more? Call me crazy or hallucinating again? Is that all you got?
I don't even need to do that. I think you're doing that all on your own.
We'll see.
To be fair.
Yeah, we'll see. So do you want to tell me what is your evidence that I work with or talk to or have any association with at all with Destiny?
Uh-oh.
What? Destiny? What?
What?
Oh, the guy that I talk about fucking obsessively 100 times a day, that is like basically like the Antichrist, the Lord Voldemort in my community? Yeah, you accuse me of working with him, knowing him, talking to him.
Good point.
What is your evidence for that?
Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Not only is there video footage of you corresponding with someone in your Discord that literally aligns perfectly with Destiny's own Discord, offering clips for you to pull.
That sounds like a stretch.
You've also used used clips that are unlisted called Hummus when making arguments about my virulent anti.
Bro, I used to call you fucking Hamas Piker because you're supporting Hamas. Like, what the fuck? That's not. I Freudian slip call you fucking Hamas instead of Hasan all the time. I did that unilaterally, bro. What was that explanation? Sorry, we need an animation for that. Sorry. Okay, do that one again. Give us that one.
Anti-Semitic to pull.
That sounds like.
Not only is there video footage of you
working with him, knowing him, Lord Voldemort in my community? Yeah, you accuse me of working with him, knowing him, talking to him. What is your evidence for that?
Here it is. Let's
Thank
go.
you for asking.
Oh, you're very
Not
welcome.
only is there a video footage of you corresponding with someone in your Discord that literally aligns perfectly with Destiny's own Discord, offering clips for you to pull.
That sounds like a stretch.
You've also used clips that are unlisted called Hummus when making arguments about my virulent anti-Semitism.
Who gives a fuck?
From
I pulled a clip
link that came from a Destiny fan account.
So that's your proof that I work with Destiny.
None of that is relevant.
Okay.
What's relevant is your constant coordination with Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman, who you featured on your context nuke. So yeah,
did I feature
I don't think it's that
context
ridiculous
puke, Hasan. You fucked up. Context puke.
Assertion to make, especially when considering the fact that you have been corresponding with Dan Saltman, and you did, and he is Destiny's podcast co-host, and the what does he call himself? The general of the Hezbollah, I think that's what they call themselves, the Taliban and the Hezbollah, their mass harassment operations that they engage in.
Destiny lore master coming out here.
I think that is not a ridiculous fucking claim to make at all.
It's actually insane, and it's a really convenient way of discrediting.
Never promoted like Destiny's content. Hasn't definitely not watched any full Destiny videos. Hasn't invited Destiny onto the show. Yeah, okay.
Me when I've never spoken to,
I think
worked
you're doing
with,
enough
talked
to
about
discredit
Destiny
yourself
in my
all on your own.
life.
I don't need to bring
it's
that
a
up.
really nice way of you. You know what? I think you're hallucinating, buddy. I think you are you pulled a meme.
The problem is that Destiny's community are very online. Like they watch me, they will watch H3, they watch Hasan, they hate watch Hasan all the fucking time. Yeah, they're just busy. They're just busy boys.
From his subreddit once. And
No,
there was a guy in your Discord that's also in his Discord. I think you're hallucinating.
I've seen him watch Destiny clips a couple of times. Full videos? I'm not sure.
Those things.
You sound fucking unhinged, dude. Are you crashing out, Hasan?
Uh-oh.
Ethan, I didn't
Hasan,
say
are you
that.
crashing out?
I gave you.
Do you have friends who are aware of the condition and can help you get the help you need?
Okay, Ethan.
You're delusional.
You featured Destiny's podcast.
I said he discovered the IP ban. Is that not true? I said Dan Saltman discovered the IP ban. That's all I said. I didn't endorse. I didn't. All I said is he discovered the IP ban. Is that true? Is that materially true?
I don't think
it is. It is.
I think someone in Destiny's community did it. But
see, even you're kind of like making my claim for me, Ogre Boy. What, he toyed with the idea of getting Destiny on, and the crew didn't want to, so he took me on instead. Okay, yeah. The problem is that me and Ethan have spoken, okay? Like, me and Ethan have spoken. I know, like, sorry, it's not like you can fucking hide it. He obviously watches at least some of my videos. That's how he found me. He found me through one of my videos. He uses talking points that I put up on my videos, like, unless he discovered, like, every single source that I used by himself. And we just did that in unison. But Hasan can't do it with me because I don't have the same fucking tarnished name that Destiny has. That's why Hasan does it.
It's fine. Yeah.
So how is that an endorsement?
Ethan, are you claiming that
you don't have direct whenever you're trying to avoid Ethan? Hasan, are you hallucinating?
Ethan?
Hasan?
He reached out purely on his own because he found you through your videos. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if he talks to Dan Saltman, maybe Dan recommended it. Maybe someone recommended a video. From Ethan, I heard, I liked the video on left-wing anti-Semitism. Let's talk about that on the show, plus these other things. Yeah, because I made a fucking banger explaining why you tanky dipshits just find yourself overlapping with anti-Semites for the last year and a half, and you're very confused that Jewish people look at you and go, like, bro, what? Why did we, Anne Frank did what? The Warsaw get what? Yeah, okay, fine.
Do you not correspond with Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman?
I've talked to Dan Saltman, but also I don't think that that's Destiny, is it?
Yeah, no, that's just his podcast co-host,
yeah,
and is perfectly aligned with him and uses his community to brigade. And also has literally tried to blackmail people in Destiny's own community.
I don't really fucking care because that's not Destiny, is it?
Unearthing sex crimes that he did.
Man,
Do you feel like that's a good person to align with?
I'm not endorsing him.
You now openly admit.
I'm not endorsing him at all. I just said I've spoken to him.
No, yeah, you're not endorsing him. You're just getting information.
Have you ever
from him
spoken to somebody you don't endorse? I mean, what kind of silly bullshit are we doing here?
Certainly.
Well, there you go.
Oh my God, I don't endorse. I'm speaking to one right now.
You talk to Dan Saltman. You're fucking outed as a Destiny's best friend.
Ethan, you're the one who admitted that just now.
I'm sorry. This double standard is fucking ridiculous. Hasan shouldn't be allowed to talk about any of this until he explains why he changed his mind to start platforming Bad and Banada. That's it. Like, I'm sorry. Hasan promotes people who think that half of the Jews on Earth are military targets, okay? You're never going to find a clip of me saying something like that. You're never even really going to find a clip of like fucking Dan Saltman saying something like that. Like that's fucking batshit. And he watches their videos and watches their analysis of the conflict and just thinks it's good commentary. And he's never once thought, wait, I think this is really good commentary. I think this person gets the conflict. This person thinks all Israeli Jews are military targets, like as civilians, like all of them. That there's no such thing as a civilian in Israel. So maybe there's something wrong with what I'm doing there, that these two things are not connecting very well at all. Like, I don't know why I'm finding myself in a place where I'm supporting someone who wants like 6 million Jews to die or go into camps. That's fucking weird. But no self-criticism. Ethan, on the other hand, has had exchanges with Dan Saltman and promoted something that Dan discovered about the Israel IP ban. And Dan's a friend of Destiny and Pepe Silva. Like, come on. Nice straw man. I don't even need to bring up a tweet, you fucking liar. Ask Bad Empanada if he thinks that Israeli civilians, like, that there is such a thing as an Israeli civilian. They will say no. He did it with second thought on the deprogram. Do we deny that as well? I'm collaborating with Vosh now, just so you guys know, because I'm on the subreddit. Vosh forced them to say this.
Thank you very much. He says, did the Palestinians actually take civilian hostage, or is that fake news? I don't care.
Yeah, the occupiers are not civilians. That is what it comes down to. Like, if imagine, like if
Sorry, go on.
Germany, let's say Germany, to be non-controversial, invaded the United States, and they said, you know what, Cincinnati, Ohio, is our ancestral home, and everyone knows that's blatantly false. But they take your home, they murder your grandma, they bulldoze like your neighbor's house. Are those
people in chat are saying it. Flimflam saying an occupation has no right to defend itself. Yeah, they think that. So this person thinks that on October 7th, like what? The IDF should have just stood down and been like, here you go, guys, free reign. Go easy on us, bros. Look, there are people who have come into my chat who think 6 to 7 million Jews in the world are fair game to just fucking die, to get shot. How long did that take? I'm sorry, and this side of the internet thinks other people have a problem? Come on.
Spoken with Dan Saltman, not that I'm a Destiny collaborator, which is what you claim, which is an outright.
Oh, sorry, I didn't finish the clip. Sorry, I need to finish collaborating with Vaush V.
Civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. Yeah. There are no civilians there in the illegal military occupation.
Which is funny because he's describing like Israel's not an illegal military occupation. It's a country with a legal right to defend itself. Israel has existed, has been a UN member state for like it was like the 49th or 50th UN member state. Like most UN member states were brought in after the formation of Israel.
Yeah. So that's number one, very beautifully put. Number two, much more importantly, the track record of Palestinians has been 1,000 times better than that of the Israeli occupation, despite the fact that Israeli occupation does not need to brutalize. They already have all the power, but they still choose to do far worse.
And now even Ogre Boy's defending it. Look, like, why do you pretend to hide from this? Can you comment on the setup to the hypothetical? First of all, Israel does have a historic connection to fucking historic Palestine. Like, it does. The Jews do have a historic connection to the land. Second of all, most Zionists arrived in Israel as refugees. They were fleeing persecution. That's why they ended up there. Some of them, quite a few of them actually, in the Haganah committed war crimes and stole land. Yes, that happened in the 48 war. After, by the way, they tried to accept the partition plan and the Arabs said no. That does not mean if a country is founded on unethical means, quite a lot of countries were, that does not mean that you hold every single civilian in that country accountable by military force for the crimes of their ancestors. Unless you are accepting of Native Americans coming, murdering you, and stealing your fucking house. You're still in the country we say kill your family and bulldoze your house. Did every Israeli civilian kill someone's family and bulldoze someone's house? You fucking idiot. He said there are no civilians there. None.
Yeah. So that's number one, very beautifully put. Number two, much more importantly, the track record of Palestinians has been
like your neighbor's house. Are those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. There are no civilians there.
There are no civilians there, and they're talking about an attack on Israel proper. You fucking idiot. How do you live with yourself? I know the Hasan tattoo kind of like binds you to this position, but it's indefensible. It's indefensible. And sorry, behaving like this and promoting this kind of worldview, it hurts Palestinians. I don't know if you've realized, but targeting civilians has never helped Palestinians. Not once. Not once. The Second Intifada, fucked them. The 48 War, fucked them. October 7th has fucked them. This is why there are protesters in Hamas, and there are protesters in Gaza risking their lives every fucking day for the last month to get rid of Hamas.
Pathetic, provably wrong lie. And this is part of your disinformation campaign to delegitimize my...
Not even the music festival visitors were civilians. No, not according to these people. No. They're occupiers, criminals. They bulldozed someone's house and killed an entire family, you know? I've seen it. It was crazy.
Points without ever having to address them. And isn't that convenient? You never have to address anything I say because you can just say, Ethan's friends with Destiny. Ethan's hallucinating.
Ethan, I don't think I need to. I didn't bring up Destiny. You did.
Yeah.
And also,
because you lied about me for 2 years working with them.
2 years.
That's right. Hasan, listen.
Ethan, this is kind of embarrassing
year and a half
to admit. But I defended you both to my community and in general because I thought that you were a lot more open-minded until...
What have we disagreed on?
Change you and get you to support terrorists.
What have we disagreed on? I'm sorry. What am I not open-minded about? What have we disagreed on, Hasan, other than me criticizing you and your friends? What have I said against the Palestinian people? Go ahead. What do we disagree on?
What we are disagreeing on is what you choose to focus on.
Does that seem significant?
What you think is the major point of contention here.
Well, that's first of all, what I choose to focus on is certainly something you can critique.
A little frivolous.
But does that justify like lying about me continually for a year and a half just because you don't like where I'm focused? That seems immaterial.
Lying about what?
About me being a Destiny fan, about hallucinating, sweeping for your anti-Semitic friends. Lying about context, saying that my video's out of context without watching it. Hasan, take your time.
Do you feel like your video wasn't out of context?
Absolutely
wasn't a
not.
Compilation of a 2-hour sequence of out of context clips?
You want to do this?
All out of context. Jordan Pearson, let's go.
Out of context.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Name one thing. Go ahead, read the chat. Someone will send you on Discord.
No. I have it.
I thought you hadn't watched
available.
It. Well, I'll wait.
One of the major points that you made that I've seen through other people's coverage of it so far is that I deny rapes happening on October 7.
No, you don't deny rapes. You just deny almost all of them, bar like one. Yeah, that's true. He does. Yeah.
Okay. That I deny rapes happening on October 7. There's a clip of you when you first encounter that statement where you are actually understanding of my position until your wife stops you and says, that's inappropriate. You literally say, oh, he's saying the likelihood of rapes happening does not justify genocide, which you agree a genocide is happening.
Yes, this one of these clips was out of context. Yes, that one. But Hasan still denies every rape, barring the one that happened in captivity.
Uncontested.
Ever since then, though, months later, you still chose
her
to
name
use
is Hila, by the way, Hasan. I don't know why you referred to her as my wife. I find that a little chauvinistic, frankly. You know who she is. You know her well. You've begged for Teddy Fresh from her many times. So, like, yeah, you know who she is. You've written her emails asking for clothing. Her name is Hila.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so why don't you say that? Who goes, oh, your wife? Like, she's not. She has no. She's just like, oh.
I wasn't. Can you respond to what I was saying?
Yes, absolutely. With great pleasure, I will respond.
Why is it that you initially understood the full context until Hila stopped you and said, no.
The challenge was name one out of context, and he picked one and began there. Ogre boy, we all know. Like, okay. That's fine. Let's just see. Let's see what they say. That's fine. You think they're all out of context? You think Hasan doesn't? You think Hasan denies? You think Hasan doesn't deny, like, more than one rape? Hasan thinks one rape happened, and it was in captivity. That's the last thing I heard him say, and that was not out of context.
I'll answer. Would you like me to answer? That's one example of many. Seeing your response in the totality of all the responses shows that you do deny the rapes that happened on October 7th. In fact,
the totality of all my responses.
In fact, you had promised me, and I know you would never lie to me, that you would watch the content context puke. So why don't we pull up that bit there and we can see how out of context it is.
Boom. Do it.
Great. Someone pulling that, Dan? How you doing? I'm waiting for the link. You good?
Am I? Oh yeah, I'm great. I don't think this is going the way you perceived it to be going. But
I mean, you're reading your chat.
I remember this with was a Tyler, Westside Tyler, like every couple of minutes. By the way, you're getting owned in this debate.
You think that's the
I'll
most
be
accurate
honest with
way
you,
to...
I was going to be... I was thinking about being a lot more stern initially, but this has turned into the last conversation that we had where I am trying to gently nudge you in the direction of sanity.
Ethan, I want you to really understand. You're crazy. You're crashing out. You're hallucinating, my friend. Come sit over here. You know what I mean? Don't ignore the swastika. Ignore the accusations of working with the ADL with no credibility. Ignore the tier list with fucking Ben Shapiro and Ethan. Come sit here. You're hallucinating. Oh, thank you so much for. You know what?
Move on.
You,
talk about the.
That's so
talk about
kind
the
of you.
Disputes.
How fucking genuine of you to take off the baby gloves. You fucking liar.
I mean, this is.
You are a prolific liar, bro. Where's the link? Just control F for.
The reason, for the record, the reason why I don't like to bring Hila into the conversation is because I'm addressing my concerns with you, and I don't think that it's appropriate for me to, extend the lens of criticism
that's a
to
little
other
silly
people.
Considering you're like, well, actually, it was Hila who influenced your opinion, the evil IDF lady. Anyway,
okay, while we're waiting for the clip.
No, I got it. Deny the violent rapes that took place. That is way beyond the pale.
But I'm hearing you. There is one instance in captivity.
Chair react.
That we have.
I'm not going to let you chair react to me, buddy. You grab that Dr. Pepper. I'll wait.
No, I said I'm listening to you. Don't worry. I was just grabbing another soda.
Buddy.
Go ahead.
On the pale.
Is that there is one instance in captivity. Did you put a Hamas headband on me?
I sure did.
There is one instance in captivity that we have actually gotten verifiable evidence on. Beyond that, the systematized mass rapes that Hamas dealt on October 7, not a single bit of that has been verified. And people still run with it over and over and over again.
Okay, so he agrees with that. He agrees it's one incident. Nothing else is verified. Okay, interesting.
We're simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped.
I can't see myself, by the way, if you're showing my
You're giggling. You're giggling. It's so funny.
Has a right to defend
I'm
itself.
not giggling.
You sure are.
Bro, what rapes did Hamas do? What are you talking about?
What rapes did Hamas do?
Anti-Semitism account that considered me to be anti-Semite of the week has also been hallucinating rapes once again, doing rape fantasies once again because they're fucking mentally ill.
Hamas has committed.
That's something you go to a lot. You notice that? Call people mentally ill. Find that odd. Probably should revise that. I don't know if that's kosher for leftist values.
Horrific acts.
Yeah, Son's a tanky. He doesn't give a fuck about anything about anything intersectional or fucking sensitive to other social issues.
I'm not exactly I'm not exactly doing a lot of stuff that's kosher for leftist values in general.
So you said the captivity claim since it became known months ago. No, you fucking liar. He said that he he deliberately misread the UN report. The UN report said that there were two standards of evidence. One is reasonable grounds to believe, and then the other one was clear and convincing. And they said that the rape in captivity, because it came from a survivor, was clear and convincing. The other ones, which were based on witness testimony, from conjecture because of where the bodies were, from some digital evidence that showed someone like running into a shelter, and then like circumstantial evidence suggesting that they were raped in there, and also corroborating witness statements, that was a reasonable grounds to believe. And he thinks reasonable grounds to believe from a 2-week fact-finding mission is not enough. That's ridiculous. Because if you believe that bodies who are found stripped either from the waist down or fully, women with their legs spread, witness statements, if you believe these are not good enough, then you are basically saying that no rapes happened at Sabra and Shatila. That's it. And you can read the McBride Commission if you want on that. Like, if you believe that, because again, I believe rapes happened at Sabra and Shatila. Quite a lot seem to have, in about 72 hours or less. You can read it here, the McBride Commission. The Sabra Shatila section is page 162 to 187. There are some appendices talking about what witnesses and investigators saw. Doesn't take long to read. less than an hour, easy. We know that rapes happened at Sabra Shatila because 1, lots of bodies were found stripped either from the waist down or fully. 2, in terms of specific cases, like high-profile cases, like Intisar Ismail, we know that they were raped because someone found their body afterwards and saw them. With Intisar Ismail, a doctor ran down into a shelter, saw her body, and determined from looking at her body that she had been raped several times. Then, another person was witnessed being raped. The rest, it's the bodies. That's it. Survivor statements, I don't know if there are any. They're nothing in the McBride Commission. There were medical teams that went to Sabra Shatila after the IDF withdrew, after the phalangists came out. They identified the dead. They didn't do forensics for rapes. They didn't swab people. They didn't do rape kits or anything like that. So the evidence that we have in Sabra Shatila for the rapes are about the same, if not actually a little bit lower, than the evidence we have for the rapes on October 7th. If you think that witness statements and bodies that are found stripped is not good enough to say that a lot of rapes happened on October 7th, then you also don't think rapes happened in Sabra Shatila. Or you have a double standard because you are, I don't know, silly, bad person, dipshit.
So you have no problem weaponizing mental health?
Yeah, when someone is hallucinating, I think it's appropriate to say that.
By your authority, I will decide who's hallucinating. Hasan.
Women and girls.
Watch this.
Horrific acts of sexual violence.
Ethan.
Hasan, I am so sorry. You promised that we would watch this. I pulled it up. Now sit silently and enjoy.
Okay. But I got the point. You're saying that you're showing clips of me. You're showing clips of me saying that someone is
men and boys slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much.
So this is the one out of context clip. All the other ones are fine. All the other ones are accurately portraying Hasan's opinion on rapes on October 7th.
Part of this problem that many people that can't contend with, like.
I can't believe how quickly leftists go from believe all women to Pixar didn't happen.
There you go, Hasan. What do you got?
Pixar didn't happen. That's great commentary, by the way. Okay.
I mean, it's pretty apt.
Okay. So let's talk about it. You did actually, I'm surprised, you did actually show my findings on the UN committee report that came out.
The one that you misrepresent?
Yeah,
continually? You fucking continually lie about the conclusion?
Report. Wait, what did I misrepresent about the UN
preliminary report?
Go ahead, you
tell me what it said.
The UN preliminary report was not an investigative report.
We don't often get investigative reports for rapes and conflict. Historically, we don't get that either. It's very difficult for a million very obvious reasons that you cannot do a full investigation into rapes in a conflict.
Example, the investigative report that came out about Israel's systematized sexual assaults that was 49 pages long.
Horrible. What a horrible thing that was.
Yeah.
Unironically.
No, absolutely.
Just unacceptable.
The level of evidence in a preliminary report,
especially when the IDF blocks them. Ogre boy, you are such a fucking bot. I love it that you bring up these points. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Report is only enough to actually create an actual investigation. The problem is Israel has denied an actual investigation to take place. Israel has told the United Nations that they are not allowed to do an actual investigation and to simply listen to what they have to say. Now, not only is Israel...
There are literally women who have said, I was raped.
Do you feel like the Israeli government lies?
Do you? I mean, all governments.
If you want to do the question on why Israel doesn't want to do an investigation into rapes, this is like a few months after it's happened now. There's a few complex reasons for it. One is it can start with the bad faith one, like the bad reason they would have for denying it would just be because they don't trust the UN. Like they don't trust them. They don't trust the UN to treat Israel fairly. The Goldstone report is a really good example of this, of where there was very clear evidence that the police and security stations that were hit by the IDF were full of fucking soldiers, and that these institutions had integrated themselves in with the Al-Qassam brigades, and for Goldstone to just ignore that evidence completely when Hamas were literally fucking publishing it. But another bad reason might be that they don't want to include an investigation into Palestinians who are imprisoned in Israeli jails. But there are other reasons that are more legitimate. How do you do an in-depth investigation into rapes on October 7th months after the fact? Are you going to dig out the bodies and like look inside the, like and do fucking swabs on someone who's been in the ground for months? Are families going to consent to that? Is it not the case now that as time goes on, victims and witnesses are more reluctant to speak because when they do speak, they get fucking blasted online by nutters like the Electronic Intifada who want to just try and discredit every single thing they say? It's also true that in the context of a war, most states are not generally prepared to pick up and deal with over 1,000 bodies that are lying around to bury them, right? And Zaka, which is made up of largely volunteers and some very corrupt people as well, mangled a lot of the evidence. Some bodies, over 100, were burnt beyond recognition. So can someone please say, Jews don't have like a religious thing about autopsies? Yeah. Can someone please in the chat say what a new investigation months after the fact was supposed to find? I don't recall there being a special investigation into rapes on October 7th. A special investigation into rapes at Sabra. The medical teams weren't there to check out rapes. They were there to identify the dead and identify munitions, like bullets. Can anyone tell me what this new investigation is supposed to do other than like review some more fucking witness statements in a couple of different areas? Well, you don't even believe the witness statements from the areas we do know about. The UN report said in 3 different locations, there were credible witness statements of gang rape, of mutilation, of stripped bodies. I think if you add up the total, you've got at least 20 bodies, mostly women, who were found stripped. Across the various locations, the mission team found that several fully naked or partially naked bodies from the waist down were recovered, mostly women, with hands tied and shot multiple times, often in the head. There are pictures of people with their hands tied as well. So that's at least sexual violence, like stripping someone against their will. That's sexual violence at least. Thank you for the crickets, by the way, for the people who are saying what a new special investigation was supposed to actually uncover or to review that we haven't done already.
It's a lie. I'm not going to defend Israel, though.
I agree.
You said there's women that come out and said, I was raped.
What?
There are women on the record, on video, saying I was raped.
Like you're saying, you're saying there are multiple women that are on the record saying I was raped.
Correct.
There is, as far as I understand,
one
instance in
course,
captivity.
As far as you understand, because you don't give a fuck about the reality,
directed by Hamas. What?
Well, of course, that's as far as you can conclude because you don't give a fuck about the truth. You just want to do propaganda, remember?
Ethan.
Hasan, please, calm down.
Okay.
You're getting worked up.
I don't know why you're...
Whoa.
behaving in such a childish manner when we are actually talking about finally some serious stuff. Okay?
Well, also, it's not just one person who spoke directly. No one has disputed this either, I don't think, that there were therapists working with a woman who was gang raped, but this person's just never going to talk to reporters or investigators, which again, this also happens in the real world. Most rape victims don't come forward. Most rape victims who do come forward don't get a conviction. It's one of the hardest crimes to prove. But anyway.
Okay.
In terms of the UN preliminary report and the findings, okay, there is a clear-cut lack of evidence for any forensic examination to take place due to the incompetence of the Israeli government and specifically the organization Zakah.
Again, it's not just... that's not... The report also said 100 bodies were burnt beyond recognition. The report also said that with Zaka, they were burying bodies really fast, but that's also... It's not just to do with them being, like, incompetent. It's also to do with, like, the whole Jewish thing of, like, wanting the bodies to be buried as quickly as possible. Forensics for rapes are not the norm in war. Most rapes that have happened across history are not accompanied with forensic evidence. This is not true. The rapes in the 48 war, the rapes in Sabra, they're not accompanied with forensic evidence. They're accompanied with the same kind of evidence that we have here.
Spent most of its time in the immediate aftermath of October 7, taking bodies out of body bags and putting them into Zakah branded body bags. This was reported by Haaretz as well.
Yeah.
They polluted
the evidence. We don't like
pool.
Zakah, yeah.
Okay? That's number one. Number two. Numerous people that came out and offered eyewitness testimony have since then been discredited, also according to Haaretz reporting.
Yeah, again, because some statements have been discredited doesn't mean they all have. Even the UN report found like a couple of statements were discredited, yes. Can you link that article you flashed? Which article? Which one was I on? I've got a lot of tabs open. Yeah, there were some statements that were The article I flagged, this one about the no condition. This is from Screams Without Silence. But again, I don't think anyone has disputed this claim. I don't think anyone's disputed this claim. We know that this guy, Yossi Lando, is a liar. He lied about 2 instances, actually. I think he was the origin of the, what were the ones that were not true? There was the babies in bins, there was the pregnant woman, and I can't remember what else. But they don't use him for that. Like, people say that they used Yossi Lando, and this is why this article's like shit, but they used him in the New York Times article because it's just him saying that he didn't take pictures of the fucking raped woman. Like, that's it. That's all they use. They use him as evidence that Zaka fucked with the evidence. They cleaned up scenes of carnage, inadvertently destroyed evidence. But, you know, again, show me a war where this doesn't happen.
Which article?
I
What's
can't
the
pull it up right now.
Haaretz article that
Google
accuses victims of sexual assault of lying about it? Go ahead and link me that one. And by the way, while you look for that...
No, not victims of sexual assault, Ethan. I'm using my words very carefully.
Right.
Not
of course,
victims
I remember
of
you do
sexual
that.
assault. Not victims of sexual assault. Eyewitness testimony initially provided that led people to believe that there were sexual assaults that were taking place.
Show me the source.
Were then discredited.
Yes, 2 were. That doesn't mean all of them were. You fucking slimy, professional, misogynistic piece of shit. Yes. Show me a war where false claims don't happen. Do you know that actually quite a lot of original claims about Deir Yassin were proven false? Do you know that, Hasan? Does that mean that there was no atrocity? Does that mean that nothing bad happened? No. It means that some claims were false. I don't even think Hasan knows that. You know that, like, he's doing what the ultra-Zionists do. You know, the ultra-Zionists will say that that Deir Yassin's bullshit because the Arab leaders, the Arab media at the time, intentionally lied about Deir Yassin. They exaggerated. They added in like atrocities that didn't happen. They added in tanks. They added in mass rapes, actually, which didn't happen. But then people use that to act as if like nothing bad happened at all, even though it did. Like it was still a massacre. We still know that like a whole family of like 10, 11 plus people were machine gunned as they came out of their house after surrendering. We know that 7 to 8 people were shot and then thrown into a ditch near a quarry. We know that some people were paraded around East Jerusalem in the back of a truck. Some of them were shot as well. We know that most of the people who died even during the fighting were civilians because they just randomly threw grenades into houses. But ultra-Zionists will just be like, oh no, but Arab media lied about it. They exaggerated, so fake. Hasan's doing the same thing.
Give me the source. By the way, Hasan, while you look for that, I'm assuming that you're quoting the UN Representative Secretary General on Sexual Violence and Conflicts report, right? This is one everyone refers to. Now, are you aware how these kind of papers work? They do a very precise conclusion at the end that summarizes the main thesis and points driven home in the article. That's what the conclusion is. Let me read it for you. Overall, based on the totality of information gathered from multiple and independent sources at different locations, there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred at several locations across the Gaza periphery, including in the form of rape, gang rape, during the October 7th, 2023 attack. Credible, circumstantial information which may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence.
He's like excited because he likes the word circumstantial because he's going to pretend that like that's not good enough. Oh no.
Genital mutilation, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment was also gathered.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm gonna walk you
Are
through
they
this real quick.
hallucinating?
No. So
they're crushing out.
You just don't know what words mean. So credible circumstantial evidence. Do you know what that means?
It means Hasan is still a fucking misogynistic frat boy cunt who wants to say pics or it didn't happen. That's what that means. Circumstantial evidence is almost all the time all we have for determining rape. Like that's circumstantial evidence for rape is like there's not a fucking video of it. You know, like fucking rape kits are circumstantial evidence. DNA is circumstantial evidence. Someone comes and says, "Hey, mate, this guy calls himself the professor, the professional. He raped me." And professor's like, "What? No, I didn't know." And then they do a test. They do a DNA test. It's like, oh, okay. So there is proof that there was sexual contact here. And then the professor goes, "Yeah, but she consented." The DNA, even a DNA test, is circumstantial evidence. And then the professor goes, what? I thought she wanted it. She said, yeah.
Means that there's, yeah, of course.
Credible circumstantial evidence is not a substitute for forensic evidence. Credible
That's why I said Pixar didn't happen, bro. You need rape kits.
Prosecute.
Hasan needs rape kits.
Yeah, even rape kits are circumstantial evidence. Like, because if there were rape kits, do you know what people would say? If there were rape kits at the Nova Festival, fuck me. We're never gonna, if there were rape kits on all the bodies in October 7th and they found some sexual contact with some of them, do you know what people would say? People would be like, yeah, but it's a festival. Everyone's shagging at a festival. How do you know she wasn't just boning her partner in the tent? Oh, fuck. Sorry, the majority of evidence in rapes is circumstantial evidence. It's so stupid. Again, we only have circumstantial evidence for rapes at Sabra. We don't have a full forensic investigation. But Hasan believes it. I believe it. Why the different standard? Why? Can someone tell me?
Evidence is not enough.
Pixar didn't happen, right?
Prosecute rape, which is precisely the reason why the Israeli prosecutors themselves have said that in the absence of a singular victim coming out, and also with all of the forensic evidence that has been tarnished already.
Show me evidence for anything you're saying.
What?
That's not, show me evidence for anything you're claiming that isn't some unhinged freak on Twitter. Believe all women, hey? Hey, are we believing all women unless they're Israeli? Right after October 7th Hamas attack in Israel, Zaka, the disaster victim identification volunteers, were among the first civilians responding on the scene. Zaka is an Israeli rescue and recovery organization primarily staffed by ultra-Orthodox.
Even this picture didn't happen. You know that not every bit of picture or like video footage from October 7th is published, right? Because some of it's like families don't want people to see it. This one, for example, people forget this one in the report. Kibbutz Re'im, one of the worst hit ones, maybe the worst, actually, I can't remember. There are reasonable grounds to believe that sexual violence occurred in Kibbutz Re'im, including rape. This included the rape of a woman outside of a bomb shelter at the entrance of Kibbutz Re'im, which was corroborated by witness testimonies and digital material. Why no one brings up this example? And again, that's rare. It's rare that you have digital evidence of a rape happening that's also corroborated with witness testimonies at one of these events. And this all happened. You've got stripped bodies, at least 20, in multiple different locations. You have several witness statements. You have corroborated witness statements. You have, at least in one or two cases, digital material. And this all happened. Hamas left all this evidence behind in less than 12 hours. Less than 12 hours. In a very small, and they only had military superiority over a very small part of Israel. But I don't know. At this rate, you're just pushing a fucking metric ton of boulder up the hill. God.
Jewish volunteers, known for their work in collecting human remains for proper burial according to Jewish law. I think what happened is, a lot of what happened is that, obviously you don't rape someone and then keep them alive, right? So most of them were murdered, and a lot of the forensic evidence...
I'm sending Dan the PBS article about how 2 debunked accounts of sexual violence on...
2 debunked accounts, you dishonest piece of shit. What? That means, again, there's more than 2 accounts. And again, he's lying about the report. The report described a lot of these witness statements as credible, as in they asked like more than one person. Credible sources. Bodies naked from the waist down. Credible information. Incident of rape of 2 women by armed elements. 2 debunked accounts. Jesus fucking Christ.
October 7 fueled a global dispute over Israel-Hamas war. This is from May 22nd, 2022. This is about the witness testimony that was discredited.
Ogre boy, we're gonna get to that one as well. Don't worry.
Okay.
But so even if one account was discredited, there's many.
No, it's not one account. It's 2 accounts. But the rest
there's way more than 2 accounts. Hey, Hasan, you know what you're doing? You're like, this girl lied about being raped, therefore all these women need to be questioned. That's actually what you're doing. You're saying Pixar didn't happen. I don't believe women if they're Israeli.
Can you point me to actual to victims that came out?
Yes.
Because as far as I understand, Israeli police have asked victims and witnesses to testify about Hamas and sexual violence in the aftermath of October 7.
Witnesses have tested. Witnesses have gone to witnesses spoke to the UN. The UN spoke to multiple witnesses.
And it seems like their investigations were inconclusive because by the admission of the Israeli prosecution,
show me evidence of anything you're saying.
They openly said that there were no victims that came out.
Yeah, let me guess. You read it on Haaretz.
You don't wait. Do you think that Haaretz is not a credible institution of journalism at this point?
No, but you guys lean on that. You just lie about what it says because it sounds credible.
Guys? Who is you guys?
You and all of your fucking dumbass cohorts that do the same typical rhetorical tools to just say whatever the fuck you want without ever having to back it up or knowing what you're talking about in the least bit. So show me the evidence. Haaretz boy.
I sent
swastika boy.
Narratives.
Oh no.
And also,
it's getting pay.
Here is the Israeli prosecutor Moran Getz has acknowledged that 15 months after the events of October 7, 2023, Israel has still not identified any victims in which a case can be brought against an alleged perpetrator of a sexual attack.
They're all dead.
The admission is in line
with... A
with...
case to be brought up against the perpetrator. What the fuck? It's an armed conflict. What are they going to do? Are they going to send the fucking fuzz with their donuts into fucking Gaza to arrest some fucking Nukba fighters? What the fuck? Sue them. Send them everything they got. Civilly liable. He's so fucking dense. He's a red pillar. He's a fucking red pill, bro. He's Andrew Tate. These are Andrew Tate arguments. If you made any of these fucking arguments about rapes that happen in peacetime, in a domestic situation, like locally, you would be fucking thrown out the window. FBI, open up. We've dug out a lady and then rape kitted her 6 months after the fact. And we found your name on it. Open up. I hope there are no IEDs in this house and no tunnels underneath. I'm quite lucky to have gotten here alive with a pistol and a donut and some handcuffs. Fuck me.
The complete lack of any credible evidence regarding incidents of sexual violence, which is particularly notable when these claims...
prosecution. Actually fucking decolonize yourself, you white fucking moron. Like, I'm sorry. After the war, maybe, like, you might get fucking... Do you think... It's like, how many prosecutions at Nuremberg? A lot less than crimes were committed. Do you know there were so many fucking rapes the Nazis committed in Eastern Europe that, like, there was one division where 10% of the soldiers got fucking STIs. 10% of the unit of the fucking division, that's like... a Nazi division, that's like hundreds of people, maybe over 1,000. That's like 1,000 plus soldiers in one division getting fucking turbo AIDS because the amount of raping they were doing. How many prosecutions were there for that particular crime? Probably less than the amount of crimes that happened. A lot less. Fuck.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what this foundation is, but there is news reporting on this. I don't know why
They're all
someone sent me
dead,
this link
bro.
of this.
Do you think what is your point? What you said doesn't change anything. You're talking about. Do you think that they raped people and then didn't kill them?
You said that there are victims. Can you give me?
Yes.
Out of interest, I just want to make sure I'm not wrong on this. Like, I don't want to keep saying this with if there's proof otherwise. So for Sabra Shatila, I've read the McBride Commission. I've read a couple of reports, a couple of compilations of witness statements. I've read the newspaper articles from the journalists who were on the ground at the time. I've read the Kahan Commission, the Kahan report. I don't think I've ever heard anyone from Sabra Shatila talk about rape survivors talking. I'm pretty sure everyone who got raped at Sabra Shatila died. They were killed. Is that true, or are there any actual rape survivors who spoke about being raped at Sabra Shatila? I know there was one woman who said that her newborn, her like very, very newborn baby was fucking sliced to death with a knife because the soldier just told her he's going to grow up to be a terrorist. I know that there was some of the phalangists knocked on the door and did fake Israeli accents because they thought that the IDF were a professional army and wouldn't like harm them if they were civilians. So they opened the door, saw the tree on their shoulder, and then realized they were fucked. I know about full families being lined up against walls. I know about kids playing dead underneath the fucking bodies or alongside the bodies of their families for the whole day to survive. But I don't think I've heard of any survivor witness statement talking about they got raped. Maybe there are, but like I haven't seen them. I know there are witness statements for 2 high-profile cases where 2 women were raped multiple times. One of the witness statements is someone as a doctor who found her after the fact. And I also know that there were just loads of bodies that were left stripped of women. You know, legs spread, vagina exposed, all that shit. But if anyone has otherwise, you can let me know because I don't want to be yapping that point forever, like if there's more.
names of the victims.
Yes.
I will. First of all, I am not in the business of denying rape.
Are.
If there are victims that have come forward in this process,
I will play it for you.
As I've said, there was an instance of sexual assault that took place in captivity, and it was not the systematized rape that was directed by Hamas, as the New York Times' erroneous reporting that did not meet its own standard, its own editorial standard, as a matter of fact, written by a person who literally was taken off the editorial board, taken off the actual paper for some of her insane tweets about Gaza. None of these, like, there's
okay, Ogre Boy, I'm gonna assume you're coming at this in good faith, and what you actually so what you're saying to me, Ogre Boy, Mr. Hasan Tattoo, what I assume you're saying is, okay, I agree about these ones. Like, if I believe that lots of rape happened at Sabra, then I'm also going to concede that at least like a couple, like a dozen or 2 dozen happened on October 7th as well, based on the evidence. Otherwise, I'd be hypocritical. I assume you're saying that as a premise, but then you're also asking on top, what about this specific claim about the IDF who published someone confessing to raping in when they were a POW, but then the prosecutors saying they don't have enough for prosecution. Well, if that's all you're asking, okay, and you're coming in good faith, there are multiple reasons why that might be the case. I don't know if the Israeli criminal justice system tends to prosecute a rape when you have a confession from a soldier in captivity, when they're known to use like torture, right? To use that confession when there's no identified victim or survivor because the bodies were like buried badly, or some of them were charred by RPG fire or whatever. Or because of like the way that these people are not Israeli citizens. Like, there's a lot of reasons that you might not have enough for a criminal prosecution within Israel when there are two sides of an armed conflict, separate sides of an armed conflict.
There's a lot of stories surrounding this, but I'm not in the business of fucking denying rape. So if you have
only if there's
credible evidence, please present it, and I will admit that I'm wrong. Give me the names.
Give me the names.
Hold on.
Is the video from Screams Without Violence? Is that where you're Is that where you're gonna present?
No, it's not from that.
But that was discredited by my good friend Ryan Grimm. My good friend Ryan Grimm, who thinks it's impossible to rape someone in 4 minutes. That's fucking brilliant, man. Oh God. You know, people say there's a lack of digital evidence. I'm not gonna tell you where to find it, but go find the Israeli the page that has all the footage on pictures that are public of October 7th atrocities, and look for the picture of the video of Gal Abdush, who's found in the black dress dead. Look at like the way that her fucking legs are spread, her dress is lifted up, her vagina is completely exposed, and there are still people who say that she wasn't raped because family members who weren't there, her sisters, I believe, said that they didn't believe it. Her mother did believe it, which Ryan Grimm did not mention for some reason. And they also don't believe it because there was a phone call. There are 2 text messages, 9 minutes apart, that show when she's alive and then when she's dead. And they extrapolate from that you can't rape someone in 9 minutes. There's literally no point in showing evidence, because even when it's like the best circumstantial evidence in conflict that you're ever going to get, people still don't think it's good enough. So,
and testifying, I think it was either in the UN or to Congress. She's sitting on a bench, she's talking to a mic, and she's speaking in English. Yeah, we'll get there. But like, yeah, I mean, what's your problem with Sheryl Sandberg's documentary?
Sheryl Sandberg has also been accused of
discredited
sexual harassment herself, but outside of that,
what the fuck does that have to do with what's written in her documentary?
Her documentary is basically the unsubstantiated claims, that some of which were directly
debunked by Z Squirrel. He's just reading Z Squirrel threads or fucking drop site.
Found to be incorrect. But not only is it unsubstantiated claims, it's just a recycling of the same Screams Without Violence, the Screams Without Words article that the New York Times wrote that didn't even meet its own editorial standard. Okay? We're having this conversation. You seemingly act like you care about sexual violence taking place against Israelis. Meanwhile, one of the hostages that actually was returned in the early stages did get raped by an Israeli fitness instructor.
You know,
I have not seen you talk about that.
And wow, I cannot believe that rapes happen in Israel as well. That's crazy, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, and that's fucking disgusting. Yeah, she didn't deserve to get raped. What? How does that exonerate fucking Hamas? It doesn't make any. It's just. He's such a debate bro. He's such a fucking debate bro. It's so funny.
I have not seen you talk about the Israeli pro-rape
crime that an Israeli did unrelated to the conflict.
Israel
Do you find
had
it
a
interesting?
January
There's something
6th
that I
style. Israel had a January 6th style pro-rape riot where a bunch of rabid right-wing.
Do you think I'm defending this? Why I'm not defending this.
The prosecutor's office and forcibly.
Yeah, and Hamas took fucking Shani Luke's body, her mangled fucking body, around Gaza, and people in the crowd celebrated and spat on it. And like, what's this got to do with whether or not rapes happened on October 7th? This is just Hasan, like he's going back to narrativizing. It's like, oh, okay, fuck. This is I actually do look quite bad when I'm saying that I need a fucking swab or a picture or a video, or I need the rape victims to have all survived and spoken publicly before I believe anything happened here. Shit, let's be Israel rapes too.
With guns, took out 6 concentration camp prison guards from the Sede Taman facility that had actually raped numerous Palestinians on camera.
Are you done grandstanding?
How did this one person become numerous as well? How did this one? Because I think there were 2. So as far as like abuse in terms of like smacking them in the genitals and all that shit, like there's a lot of that, like sexual violence, yeah. But when we're talking about rapes, because apparently we like to draw distinctions between that now. When we talk about rapes, like there was the guy who was, there was the video, and he had and I believe the courts argued over whether, like, what fucking item was used, but it's quite clear that his, his fucking ass was punished, basically. Yeah, he was sexually violated. There was another person who people are saying was raped to death because he was a doctor who was dragged through. Witnesses said that they saw him getting dragged through the prison with his trousers down, but then they also say that he was beaten, like he was battered in his ribs and he had like broken bones and shit like that. I don't believe any like doctor or anyone there said that he had been raped to death. People have just like extrapolated that, like he might have been. But where is all this like industrial scale, like mass? Can you just do the same thing for, like, again, I don't know why people dispute this. Like, we know that Israel has, like, Israeli soldiers have raped prisoners in captivity. We know that. We know that Palestinian women, despite the fact that the last report said they couldn't confirm the PA's claims of women being raped in Israeli jails. They actually said they didn't find evidence of that. It's still logical to assume that it has happened because, again, we know that sexual abuse happens in those prisons. We know that prolonged strip searches and threats of rape happen, but it makes sense that Palestinian women in Israeli jail would not admit to being raped. They wouldn't come forward about it for the same reason that Israeli Jews wouldn't. Palestinian women more so because there's like cultural shame of admitting that. Like there's a whole like religious and cultural reason for not saying it. But again, there's more than enough circumstantial evidence to suggest that Palestinian women have been raped in Israeli jails. But again, like I don't know why that standard is okay for Hasan, but like the other one isn't. It's weird.
Here's a victim.
No, Hasan has never asked for a rape kit for that one. No.
They raped to death.
Are you done? Here's a victim you asked for. Here we go. This is from, I think there was an even more recent one than this, but where's the audio? Fuck. Hold on, let me unmute.
Unable to move and had to ask for permission to use the bathroom. In that house, I was sexually assaulted by the Hamas terrorist who had guarded me. He forced me to go to the shower and entered the room, pointed his gun at me. He was breathing heavily and had a monstrous beast-like face. He meticulously planned his assault, scheming and waiting for the moment to have his way. He kept asking me private sexual questions while sitting next to me in his underwear, lifting my shirt, touching me, and constantly asking me when my period would be over.
Sorry, just to butt in here. Are she lying yet or no? Is she lying or hallucinating?
Ethan, have I ever said that rapes did not take place?
Well,
at least according to one credible personal testimony in captivity, not on October 7, but in captivity.
Kind of, yeah. Yes.
Over.
You're doing it right now.
What do you mean?
I know exactly what he was.
Ethan's not really getting the point here. I don't think he knows like how. It's so, you know, I think in all of human history, I don't think I've ever seen an allegation of like multiple rapes be scrutinized this heavily. Like imagine if any other conflict, if people were out there scrubbing for every bit of footage from every witness or survivor. Like I know that there are rabid like Zionists who do this for every claim that happened with like Palestinians in Gaza. But this kind of fucking obsessively. Yeah, Ethan needs to know this. He needs to know the subject very well to navigate it with Hasan. Hasan's not denying the survivor who said she was raped. He's denying everything else. You need to focus on that.
Planning to do.
You literally
and yet I couldn't do anything to prevent
Wait, pause it for a second.
No.
So Hasan is saying that no rapes happened on October 7th. He said one happened in captivity afterwards. He should get that concession out of him and then be like, okay, well, we need to discuss your standard of evidence, like, and make sure it's consistent.
Listen to what she has to say, Hasan.
Ethan,
Hasan, don't silence her. Let her fucking talk. No, because you're acting like this never happened, that it's exaggerated, that everybody's lying, that Israelis are just inherently evil monsters that are responsible for everything bad that's ever happened. Listen to her.
Cry or to be sad.
Listen to her words.
I had no one to comfort me and was forced to act nice to the person who had just sexually
Listen to this
assaulted
victim.
me
Show her some respect, Hasan.
Horrifying way.
Jesus Christ. So gross.
Not a
the way
day
you're
goes
doing
by
this.
that I don't think about what
gross.
that terrible man did to me.
It is.
We were held in such
show respect,
monster, brother. That is fucking
So Ethan definitely got the upper hand on Hasan. Like Ethan was obviously on the ball with the circumstantial evidence argument, like the picture didn't happen. That is exactly like Hasan is just inventing a new standard that he doesn't apply to other events for the race on October 7th. Ethan's not getting the point here with this witness statement. Hasan acknowledges this one, so yeah.
Should ever be subjected
Dan,
to
pull
such
the fucking
brutal
plug
and
on this.
ruthless
Holy
treatment.
shit.
Dan,
Now,
don't bring
You
Dan
really have no
into it.
problem speaking over a rape victim when they're Israeli.
Dude, you don't give a fuck about rape. Look, what are you doing? Look at what you're doing. I never said that no one ever got sexually assaulted in
First
captivity
male
in the
rape
hands
survivor
of
of Hamas
militant.
on October 7th.
I literally said in the video,
A man who was stripped naked and raped by Hamas on October 7th has revealed for the first time how he was spat on and humiliated as his murderous rapist laughed. The victim, only identified as initial D, was the first man to speak about the sexual assault he and others experienced when Hamas elite the Nakba unit massacred, kidnapped, and raped innocent people enjoying the Supernova music festival. They pin you down to the ground. You try to resist. They take off your clothes, laugh at you, humiliate you, spit on you. Said the victim, who's hold on.
Okay, listen to me.
So there's two now. Okay, Hasan would have to acknowledge there's two, if we believe victims.
Listen to my words.
They touch my private parts. They rape you.
You're not going through this in a dignified way, and I think it's very gross. What you're doing here
the fucking
is simply
projection, man.
weaponizing
God,
a victim
so
as a fucking prop. A victim that I also acknowledged.
Silence.
And you know
In
I
new
acknowledged
footage,
it because you posted it in your video that
Here it
you
is.
just showed me.
Here's the clip.
Reveals that sexual assault and rape was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
Hasan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please, go right ahead.
You're doing it again if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard.
Oh, yeah.
Ethan,
are you denying that?
Yes. From witnesses. Yes, Hasan. Okay.
In the beginning, I'm going to use my words very carefully here. In the beginning, you said on October 7th, there were numerous victims of sexual violence.
Wait, what did he, hang on, maybe I misheard him. What did he say here?
It doesn't matter if fucking rapes happened on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses.
Witnesses. Hassan's retarded. Whatever.
Dozens of testimonies.
What can you do?
Oh, yeah.
What can you do, eh? He said witnesses and Hasan heard testimonies. Hasan is he's a very stupid person. He's so dumb. How can you? He said witnesses, Hasan.
Ethan,
are you denying that?
You said, in the beginning, I'm going to use my words very carefully here. In the beginning, you said on October 7th, there were numerous victims of sexual violence. That you said, not me, you said that there were numerous victims of sexual violence that actually came forward. So I ask you for names of the numerous victims of sexual violence on October 7th. Because
hold on.
Said that
You're
there
saying
was no
only
sexual assault that took place.
Wait, you're saying they have to have been on
October. That report. I looked at that same UN report and said that there was valid, credible, firsthand testimony on sexual assault.
I wish you had the energy you have.
That was not on October 7th.
The Israelis raping people. I wish you had the same energy for the fucking Palestinian terrorists raping people. I wish you had the same energy.
Because I can't invent rapes. You have not given me any names. What are you talking about?
Names. Fuck you, man. If I asked Hasan to name a rape victim from Sabra, he'd actually rope. He would be like, what? You don't need fucking names usually for these things. Oh my God.
Names? What do you mean?
It's
what do you
so
mean? What's with
vile
my
to
people
deny
and
the
names?
suffering
I don't
and trauma of
understand.
the victim.
If there are
just
victims,
because you need your hero.
You know what?
Women.
This is not going anywhere. Let's just move on.
Fuck me.
Yeah, let's just.
What do you mean? You can't just.
Like he said, witnesses. I'm choosing my words very carefully, and he just confuses witnesses for survivors. Okay.
Gave you move on from this. This is a major point of contention. You have falsely smeared me as a rape denier.
You are a rape denier. Yeah, just because you acknowledge one, but you deny all the other ones, even though they meet the standard of evidence that you would absolutely accept if it happened to Palestinians. Yeah, you're a rape denier. What? Oh, what? No, I didn't deny all rapes. I only denied all but one. Fuck off.
You yourself, the one evidence
you deny mass rapes happened, and you're doing it right now.
The instance of sexual
showed
violence in
two.
captivity
I just showed you two
that we know of up until this
just
point.
Showed you two.
You and I both agree on.
I showed you
know
two.
That I agree with that. You know that I've talked about it. You know that I've
deny
acknowledged
mass rapes
it,
happened,
and yet
not that rapes happened.
What?
You deny that mass rapes happened, not that rape.
I'm gonna take back my position earlier. When I was talking to Queeman, I said I wasn't sure about calling it mass because when I think of mass rape, I think of like fucking Bosnia or Pakistan or whatever. But given the concentration of it, I think it's okay to call it mass rape. Like if mass murder can involve killing like 30 or 40 people, like then mass rape. I think there were at the very fucking least 20 bodies that were found stripped from the waist down or fully, like legs spread. There are like more than a dozen witness statements that have been described as credible by the UN report. And given that it all like that concentration of sexual violence in less than 12 hours in a very small part of the country, like it's dead to rights. Yeah, it's mass rape. But
rapes happen. Listen to my words.
Yes,
if you're really not happy with the whole like, oh, maybe they just stripped them and then ran away. Okay, it's mass sexual violence then. Like, yeah, fuck. And the UN report would say that as well because they described like prolonged strip searching as sexual violence for Palestinian prisoners, which is true. Yeah. Like unnecessarily long strip searches.
I do.
Okay,
I do
good.
deny
well, there you go.
Because there is no evidence. And
I just showed you two.
The clips that you used, ironically
Actually,
enough,
I showed
the
you
reason why I
three.
say it's out of context is because at that point, I personally took a position where I said,
where you
very carefully and very deliberately,
double standard because you fucking hate Israelis, maybe
that mass rapes that are directed by Hamas did not happen. There was no evidence for this whatsoever.
4 survivors told authorities they were sexually assaulted on October 7th. Report. First-hand account of such crimes have been rare, as most victims were killed. Hasan. Report follows earlier testimony from a man who said he was raped by terrorists at the Nova Festival. 4 people have told authorities that they were sexually assaulted by terrorists on October 7th. Channel 12 reports. On Thursday, adding to a growing body of evidence of the systemic sexual assault committed by Hamas. Unlike most of the previous evidence of sexual assault on October 7th, which was largely based on eyewitness testimony, the Channel 12 report is notable because it is based on firsthand accounts of victims. Yawn all you want. Firsthand testimony of such crimes has been rare because the victims have been killed. Dipshit.
Okay, Ethan,
they fucking kill them. According to the report, 4 individuals approached the welfare minister with their account.
Sorry, there is no way to actually examine.
Sorry, talk about being gross. Listen to these victims.
When someone is murdered, there's no way to do forensics evidence to actually conclude.
The fucking answer to that.
Actually conclude
because
that person was sexually assaulted.
You know that the religious organization that is first responders that you cited has a policy of burying the bodies to avoid disgracing them. That's
Ethan, you
what
just
happened.
said dozens of victims came out in that
I'm
article,
reading
and I
you.
don't know
What
where
are
that
you
article is
doing,
from.
bro? I'm
You said
showing you the
dozens of
evidence
victims
that
came
you're
out
wrong
in that
right
article.
now. According to the report, 4 individuals approached the welfare ministry with their accounts of what happened to them during the Hamas onslaught, which saw blah, 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 12, sorry, not blah, 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 but 1,200 people killed and 250 kidnapped. The report followed a separate Channel 12 story on Wednesday that provided firsthand testimony from a man who said he was raped by terrorists at the Supernova, where hundreds of people were killed. Are these all lying? There are 5 people here. There's 3 that approached the ministry and 1 man who said he was raped. Are these all liars?
I didn't know there were that many. Fuck, that's new. So Hasan's got 4 now.
I don't know. I don't think they are. I have
Okay,
no
so then what
reason
the
to believe
fuck
that
is
they
your
are. But
point?
from everything that I have seen, from everything that I've read on this, and I have read extensively on
No,
this.
you haven't. You've read Twitter threads posted by fucking Zay Squirrel.
As far as forensic examination has been concluded, there is no evidence, no hard evidence of sexual assault. And I will give you a clip.
Do you know what? He doesn't care about forensic evidence. He does not care. Do you know what the forensics said about the prisoner who was filmed being abused and like what it looked clearly like they were about to insert something like into his fucking rear end? The forensic report said that they said it. What was it like? They said that he had a rectal wound, but not a wound in his anus, which suggests that the wound was inflicted from the outside, like by a beating or something. Hasan doesn't give a fuck about forensics. I personally think it's actually not impossible to have like no anal wound but have a rectal wound, but fucking medical forensics over here. And it's also if he wasn't raped per se, he was sexually abused to fuck. Like, I mean, bro, are we splitting hairs on that? Hasan doesn't give a fuck about forensics from the Israelis. Like he would deny forensics that came from the Israelis.
From a Haaretz article
This is so exhausting,
that was posted by
I just read you firsthand
discounting?
testimony
I'm
of
using-
4 people. What are you doing? You're saying that you're not believing the victims.
Ethan,
You're asking
it's
for
not that I'm
pics or
not
it didn't
doing-
happen.
It's not that I'm not believing
Where
the
did
victims.
you said?
I'm
Where's their
saying that
bodies?
Since,
Pics or it
since
didn't
what
happen.
you have mentioned, since
You're
the
saying
thing that
pics
you
or it
mentioned,
didn't happen.
Okay,
right?
Since the article that you mentioned came out, there have been further prosecutions on this. Why have they not led to any real prosecution?
They're dead. They're
no,
fucking
that's not,
dead, you moron. What do you mean?
First-hand testimony in this
They
regard.
killed all the fucking Hamas operatives in Israel.
I killed them?
What? What are you? Are you?
Why are you saying
okay?
you killed them?
Oh, no.
I said they. Why the fuck would I say you killed them? That's insanely stupid. Are you okay? Hallucinating. Are you crashing out? Go ahead.
Maybe I misheard you. I'm pretty sure you said you killed them.
Sometimes when you're under stress, you can mishear things, but that's okay. I understand.
I might be my mistake. I have you on much lower volume because my volume is very low.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. There's a misunderstanding.
That's part of the reason why I do ask over and over again what you're saying.
That's fine. I understand. I want people to hear what we're saying, so that's totally fair.
If you're saying,
are you done, or you want to keep going?
Gaslighting you, just clip it and send it to me, chat. It's that simple. Okay. And you probably said it by mistake, even if you did, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, we done with this one?
Didn't Hamas burn some of the victims? They burned a lot of the victims. They burnt some people alive in their houses. I mean, if you believe forensics, we know that actually people keep saying this because, like they said, no babies were decapitated. Well, yeah, we know that. Children had their heads off, right? We don't know if they were blown off with an RPG or like something fell on them or if they got decapitated. But we know that people had their heads taken off. We know that at least some people were actually decapitated if we trust witness testimony. Like adults were decapitated. We know that. We know if you're going to trust forensics, then we know that at least there was a mother and a child who were in an embrace and they were burnt alive and they had soot in their lungs, which means that they were still breathing when they were on fire. Some people were burnt alive in their shelters. Some people were burnt alive in their houses. Some people were blasted with RPGs. Lots of people were burned. That's even in the investigation, like 100 bodies burnt beyond recognition.
Okay. No, we're not done with this at all.
But there are no indictments for that. So it's probably fake. there's no donut munching fucking arrest warrants being served in Han Yunis for the guys who did that.
Because
I mean, I just read four
Because
firsthand.
the question I have for you is very simple. Okay.
Oh, if I said you, I misspoke. That's my bad.
The Thai dude, the Thai worker who someone was attempting to decapitate with a shovel, that was a civilian doing that. That was an unaffiliated civilian.
By the way, I may have actually said
it's fine.
you.
It's fine.
I apologize.
You misspoke.
I didn't
I
mean
don't
that.
care.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
I just want to make sure.
Let's get back to the actual main point of contention here.
The liars. Pixar didn't
There
happen.
have been no rape allegations filed in the October 7 attacks. Not one. Okay? And this is from Ynet, speaking to Moran Gatz, who I posted about earlier.
Dumb,
Moran Gatz is the Southern District Prosecutor's Office in Israel. Okay? She was a member of the Team 7110, responsible for cases involving captured Palestinians in connection with the October 7th attacks. On investigations related to sexual violence, she says, in the end, we don't have any complainants. What was presented in the media compared to what will eventually come together will be entirely different, either because the victims were murdered, okay, this is what they're saying, or because women who were raped.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Aren't
Bro, imagine an Israeli woman going to a fucking police station and being like, "I'd like to charge this fucking Hamas guy." I didn't actually get his name. Can barely remember what he looked like, to be honest. Fuck off.
Willing to expose it.
Most women don't even want to go to pursue charges for people who rape them in their own country. Fuck's sake. Fuck me, man. I think his name was Muhammad. Like, come on. It's Yaya. Thanks for the $4.99. Really appreciate that.
She excludes here another explanation, says Drop Site News, that no rapes occurred. We approached women's rights organizations and asked for cooperation. They told us that no one had approached them. There were parents who reached out to organizations asking what to do if something happened to their daughter, but they didn't
ask Pixie what she thinks, bro. Oh, I already asked her, Tom. She thinks he should get banned.
Reveal the abuse. So the question I have for you is this. Okay, the question I have for you is this. What am I supposed to do in the situation when there are no victims that have come forward?
4 victims just gave firsthand testimony. I read it to you.
Died, but there's no forensic examination.
Pixar didn't
there has
happen.
been no justice for these victims.
Pixar didn't
I'm trying to reframe it. These victims have had no justice. Oh my God.
On October 7, due to the fact that the government completely ruined. Okay. The government completely ruined any sort of forensic examination that could have taken place.
Just so you guys know, even in Muslim culture, I believe, do they not bury bodies quickly as well? It's not like a Jewish specific thing. Sorry, Hasan. Sorry. It's just, I don't think there should be any apology for the fact that most people in Israel, and if they were Muslims as well, yet generally these people don't want bodies being fucking dug out of the ground or like gathered up and fucking lined up on a little fucking table and have someone go through them with like swabs and a scalpel and everything so that they can publish all this information with pictures and everything and DNA test results just so that you can fucking like, just so that pieces of shit like Hasan or Zay Squirrel, whoever else, can throw them under a fucking magnifying glass and toss themselves off every time they find something that they think is an inconsistency.
No way to actually bring justice to these victims. Your assessment on this is so off base.
Hasan, are you listening?
You think
4 firsthand victims. I just read it to you.
Okay, but
let's. You know what? You're right. You know what, Hasan? You're right. Let's err on the side of these victims lying.
Why are
they not trying to sue them for? Why are they trying to take them to civil court? Get some money out of it.
You're totally right. This is the progressive way. Let's err on the side of these people lying instead of believing them. Let's do that. And yeah, they're all lying.
I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm telling you, my confusion on this comes from the fact that
it's not confusing. It's obvious. Most of this shit happened. Were killed, and it's a religious part of this first responding unit that they bury the bodies immediately to avoid humiliating them. It's all explainable.
What?
Yes.
Oh,
if you don't know
does
that,
Hasan not even know about Jewish culture? If you knew anything about Judaism,
then you are like woefully misinformed, which just
dude, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Oh, it doesn't matter. There has to be a forensic examination.
Why, you fucking nosy little cunt? Why does there need to be a forensic investigation? He's full of shit. He's just full of shit. You would never say this for rapes that happen to Palestinians. There needs to be a forensic investigation. Fuck you, man. I'm sorry. No, I'm gonna probably go on the side of the families who don't want their bodies, the bodies of their loved ones, dug up and fucking stared at under a microscope. Because then, you know what Hasan would say, like, oh, but I don't know, should we really be giving it to forensic investigators? Let's make an international investigation. Let's get fucking Francesca Albanese, and let's probably bring on Hasan as well to go and look at the body and have a little examination. You know, bring the professor in, bring the professionals to go and have a good look. To be like, doesn't look very raped to me. Fuck off. Man, if I was Jewish, oh shit, I would just be like, what? Why? There has to be a forensic fucking hell. And it would have, for Hasan, it would have to be third party, right? Because these guys think Hen Kugel, the head of the Israeli Forensic Institute, they think he's a liar. So it has to be third party, you know? Bring which country's gonna do it?
What do you mean? Oh, it doesn't matter. There has to be a forensic examination.
Pixar didn't happen.
He's so
They
gross,
bury the
man.
body.
So that's
No, not Pixar. It didn't happen.
Okay,
You
listen,
don't-
Hasan fans in chat, you need to fucking stop and take a look at yourself here. Hasan is literally saying it doesn't matter that Jewish people like to dignify their dead by burying them quickly. Muslims do this as well, by the way. And his response is, it doesn't matter. There needs to be forensics. As in, you have to dig out the fucking bodies, do your little swabs on them, and I guess publish any if a body was stripped, like when they were found dead, then you need pictures of that as well, even if the family doesn't want those pictures published. Like, you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves for like promoting this person. Close your eyes and imagine I said this about Sabra Shatila. Like, I don't care for what the accusations were because there was no effort to take out the bodies and do swabs, regardless of what the families believe, the husbands, their wives, their brothers, their sisters.
Think that you don't think that the victims deserve justice? What's wrong with you? You don't think these victims deserve justice? Why did Israel refuse an outside investigative committee?
How do you explain these four accusers?
Under normal circumstances,
how do you explain these four
accusers?
accusers?
Or a third party?
Does there need to be forensic evidence for every death in Gaza then? Does every body need to go through a full forensic investigation for exactly like how they died? Because that doesn't seem to be what happens. When we saw from the New York Times report with doctors talking about like the kids who had bullets in their heads and everything, like you don't see doctors talking about like which particular round of ammunition was used or anything like that, because these people are working in a fucking incredibly intense situation. Like they're not publishing like several pages worth of like forensic and ballistics information on every single body that comes their way. Like, because this has never been an expectation that's made in conflict.
And conduct an investigation.
How do you explain the four accusers?
I don't know.
Okay, very good.
How do you explain
well,
the
let's err on the side of them lying.
Four accusers? My information is more relevant because it's new. It's newer. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't.
I guess we're at an impasse.
Bodies being identified is not the same as like a full forensic investigation for exactly how they died, Ogre Boy. Sorry. All the Israeli victims of October 7th, they are named, they're identified. You can do identification, you know, largely because people are like, where's my relative gone? Like that, you can identify the dead. That's very different from a full investigation into like whether or not they were raped. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself, man. You should be looking at that tattoo and fucking crying. This piece of shit actually said, it doesn't matter that they buried the bodies quickly. We need a third party to come in and start poking around women's fannies looking for rape evidence. Fuck off.
I mean, listen, Hasan, we're at an impasse. Can we move on?
Something that I don't know about. When the prosecutor, do you think the Israeli Southern District prosecutor actually did not examine the testimony given by these victims?
If you don't know what happened in the four accusers, why are you speaking so confidently?
Because I'm speaking
you're a liar.
about
You're a propagandist and you fucking hate Israelis. Can we move on, please?
What?
This is obviously at an impasse.
No.
Oh my God, I'm just trying to consider the audience. Everybody wants something else. I'm telling you, dude. This is exhausting.
You have claimed falsely that I do not recognize the testimony of a sexual assault that took place in captivity.
This is true. Hasan could salvage something from that. And also, Ethan's not really noticing how fucking mental what Hasan's saying is, I guess, because of like the argument of circumstantial evidence, he let it slide a bit. Also, the thing he said about it doesn't matter, there needs to be third-party forensics. Like that's these two things Ethan should be like fucking taking him to the fucking moon over it. Like, but yeah, he doesn't seem to know exactly like what the discourse is, like what the talking points are for this issue with regards to survivors versus witnesses.
That was false.
Yep,
Do you
it
admit
was false.
that?
Yep, she lied. It was false, etc.
No. It's
He's
a
not listening.
falsehood that you
Talking past each other.
claim that I don't recognize that. Do you admit that?
Yes, 100%. Can we
So
move on?
Wait, so you're admitting that you falsely smeared me as someone who is denying a verifiable
Well, let's
evidence,
take a look
verifiable
here.
claim of rape from a firsthand account, and it's not from October 7th.
Okay, yes, I'm smearing you. Can we move on, please?